Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples. Rooting section number 1 has its money on Bill Cullen, host of 3 on a Match, and his wife, Ann. Rooting section number 2 backs composer-singer Chuck Woolery and movie actress Jo Ann Pflug. And rooting section number 3 is betting on Alan Ludden, host of Password, and Betty White of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Tattletales, and especially you, Jo Ann. As you know, our studio audience is divided into 3 sections, each one backing one of our celebrity couples here. And every time one of our stars wins some money, it is divided among their rooting sections. So let's get ready to start that dividing, shall we? Ladies to the rear, fellas, have a seat out here with me. We're coming right back. Don't go away. Okay, we're back, ready to start. The fellas are going to start out here with me. First, of course, is Alan Ludden, and backstage is his lovely wife, Betty White.
There she is.
There you are, gang.
How does she look in there?
She looks beautiful.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does. She looks beautiful. You look nice too, Alan. It's nice to have you.
No, she doesn't.
And next to them, of course, is Chuck Woolery and Jo Ann Pflug. There they are.
Get your hair out of your eyes.
No, he can't see. He just said that. He said, fix your hair, but he really can't see you.
No.
Unless you can see in the back of that.
I can't see a
No,
thing.
I don't think you can. And next to you, of course, is Alan Ludden and his lovely wife, Ann.
Yes, thank you. Great.
I said Alan.
Terrific, Bill.
Well, I tell you, I have to tell you now, I have been doing this all day.
We aced it. We did it. Yeah.
Now, they did this before the show. You said, now remember, I'm Bill and he's Alan, and I said it.
I'm sorry.
He fell right
Wait a
He's
minute.
really Bill
Let's
Cullen.
pretend like we haven't done it all.
No.
And next to Chuck and Jo Ann is Bill Cullen and his wife, Ann.
Right.
There you go.
I thought that was my lovely wife, Bert Parks, in there.
No.
Sorry.
See, Alan, you got me all ready.
I'm sorry. I did that. I confess, friends.
I'm new at this, and
I
you are
confess,
picking on the new boy.
I really did
All right, ladies,
that.
we're going to get back to you in just a moment. We're going to cut you off from sight and sound. Bye.
I'll see you around.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. Fellas, I'm going to ask you some questions about your wives and your lives together. When you have an answer you think your wife will recognize, press that little red button in front of you, will you? I'll only take one response, so you have to be first.
Don't
and
miss
now,
it, Bill.
speaking of first, here is the first question. It happened while you were dating. Anybody have a story for that? Chuck! All right, Chuck, tell us about
Interesting story. We had a blind date, our first date. I thought she was Sally Kellerman, because they were both in MASH, and I'd never seen her before. Now, the interesting thing was, she didn't want to go out from with a hillbilly from Kentucky, right? She'd never seen me either. She was right. So the thing that changed the whole thing around was we went to a place for dinner that night, and I ordered her for a drink, a very fine, for a drink.
Oh, you ordered
I ordered
a drink
her a
for
very fine champagne. I can't mention the name of it because you're not allowed to mention names. But it was
Don
a very
Perignon.
fine... That's right. He knows. And she decided at that point that I was not a hillbilly from Kentucky, and she'd take me.
Okay, now,
Yeah.
what are you going to use as a 1- or 2-word clue, then?
Yeah, champagne.
Champagne is a 1-word clue worth $100 for your rooting section. Okay. Okay, let's bring on the ladies now. Ladies, we have asked the fellas a question and we have a clue. If you recognize your husband and can match his story from the clue, sound that little signal in front of you. Here we go. Here is the question first. It happened while you were dating. And the clue is champagne. Let's see. Jo Ann.
Oh, we got 2.
Who was first? Jo Ann was first. Tell us about
Well,
Easy, baby, low profile.
is that my best one? We had a blind date that David Ladd had set up, and Chuck didn't want to go with me because he thought I was somebody else from the movie MASH. He just didn't think she was his type. Anyway, and I thought he was a hick, and I...
Yes.
So we went out to dinner, and as soon as he ordered me Don Perignon, I said, he's for me.
That's very sad,
A lot of class.
That's what he said. Thank you, dear. We'll get back to you in a minute, ladies.
Okay.
Next question coming up. Okay, fellas, ready to go. Here is the next one. Dom Perignon, indeed.
Yeah.
Same question. It happened while you were dating.
Oh,
Bill. You, sir.
Same question.
Dang, did you see that?
There
My-
you are, Bill.
My story is not as romantic as that. My story is simple and to the point. I was coming out here weekly from New York, and my wife and I were dating, and I would say, why don't you come up to the room of my hotel and have a drink, and then I'll take you home. And she said it would look bad, so I had read the Douglas Fairbanks autobiography. And I stay at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and there's a back door. And if you know how to park on Crescent and leave your lights on, you can walk in and come up the back way. And then I'd take her down and out the back way and into her car, and the people at the hotel never knew the difference. And my clue is I'm going to get heck from home, isn't it?
Earth calling Bill.
I'm sorry I have to use two words, but I am the one that had the assignation. I am the one who will give the clues. I was doing this while you folks were in the peanut gallery. Back door is the clue.
Back door
It'll
is
work.
the clue. It's a two-word
That's
clue
one
worth
word.
You'll be
$50.
sorry.
Back door is one.
Is that one word or two words, Mr. Producer?
Back door's got a little hyphen in
That's
there.
two words, the man says. Okay, $50. Shh, don't give it away. Here let's bring on the ladies. Okay, ladies, we have another question. We have another clue. The question is the same question. It happened while you were dating. And the clue is back door. You're up, man. I'd like to hear it
Keeps
again.
coming back to haunt me. I think Bill's probably referring to the fact that when he commuted and he stayed at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And
Yeah, go ahead, Tony. Tell him a
the easiest
bit.
way to get to his room was through the back side entrance because I could park the car on Crescent Avenue and walk in that way.
That's exactly right. And that's worth $50 for you. You're with accepted. Thank you. All right. At this point, Betty and Ellen have $0. Jo Ann and Chuck have $100. Ann and Bill have $50. All right. Now it is time for a Tattletale Quickie. So, reaching up here, we'll get the Tattletale Quickie. Each one of these questions is worth $100. Ladies, I'm going to ask it of you, but don't give me the answer until I ask you to. Girls, I'm going to give you a choice of 3 compliments. Which would you most like to hear? A man says, "You're one of the most attractive women I've ever met." A woman says, "You're the best friend any woman could have." Or a child says, "I wish all mommies could be like you." Let me say it again for you. Which one of those compliments would you most like to hear? A man says, "You're one of the most attractive women I've ever met." A woman says, "You're the best friend any woman could have." Or a child says, "I wish all mommies could be like you." Go away and think about it, ladies. We'll come back to you in just a moment. All right, Alan, which one of those do you think Betty would most like to hear?
Well, now, if you had something about what a dog says, there'd be no choice. But now, between children, women, and men, I'll go with the man. She'll say she'd prefer the compliment from the man.
Okay, she'd like to hear that one. All right, let's bring on Betty. Betty, which one of those 3 compliments would you like to hear?
Oh, I'm afraid there's just no contest. I like boys best. I think a man should say...
That's what I said for $100. No contest at all, huh? You know, Alan said the one category we didn't have here was a dog.
Well, that would be first if they did say that.
Why is that? Do you have a dog you talk to a lot? Is that
I
it?
have several I talk to. I talk to all kinds of animals.
Right.
She talks to
Alan and-
anything with a leg in each corner. Yeah,
All right, thank you, Betty.
not as often.
Okay, Chuck, how about Jo Ann? Which one of those compliments would you
tough.
most
Boy,
like to
they're
hear?
all lovely compliments. That's really
Yes, they
tough.
are.
Let's see, I'm going to have to rule out the children, I think, because we don't have children. So it's between a man and a woman, and being a good friend is a good one. I think I'm going to go with a man, too, because every woman likes to know she's attractive. Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to try that. Yeah.
Okay, the question is, which one of those 3?
Yeah.
Let's bring on Jo Ann. Jo Ann, which one of those compliments would you most like to hear? From a man who says you're the most attractive woman I've ever met, a woman who says you're the best friend any woman could have, or a child who says, "I wish all mommies could be like you"?
Well, I just finished a movie of the week with a little boy that I fell in love with. Aw, and so I would probably say I wish that a child would say that to me.
Okay, now that's
all right, darling. I don't mind, because that's sweet.
Tell her what you said, Chuck. Bill. Nevertheless, no
Later
score
on,
there, Joanne.
though.
Tell her what you said, Chuck.
Yeah, I thought that you would like to be attractive all your life because you're so vain and everything, you know.
Did you really say
I'm just kidding,
Chuck
darling.
said that. I didn't say that, Joanne. Chuck said that.
Is she
Thank
mad?
you. I'm sorry, dear. No score there. Okay, Bill, how about Ann?
Well, there's no question in my mind because that same story I told earlier about the back door, last time he threw her out, the hotel detective said, "You're the most attractive woman I've ever thrown out." No, and I think, like most women, I don't know, I think she would want the compliment from a fella about being the most attractive woman.
Okay,
and she
let's,
is.
Let's see if she agrees. Yes, she is. Ann,
Yes,
which one of those three compliments would you like most to hear?
I think the man saying that.
That brings us to halftime at this point. Betty and Alan have $100. Joanne and Chuck have $100. Ann and Bill are in the lead with $150. Okay, gentlemen, change places. Fellas to the rear. Ladies, come on out here. While we're changing places, we'll break away for this message, but we're coming back in just a moment. Don't go away.
But I meant it.
Okay, we're back. As you know, our studio audience is sharing the winnings of our celebrity couples, but let me add this. If your rooting section is backing our winningest couple at the end of today's show, we will add as a bonus $1,000. Okey-doke. All righty, we have the ladies are out here with me. Let's see if your fellas are situated correctly. Gentlemen,
Yes.
Are you comfortable? Everybody all set?
Oh, it's terrific, Bill. Coffee,
Got you
please.
here. Don't talk at once. I can't hear anything. Now, everybody say hello.
Hello.
Now, cut them off. Goodbye, fellas. Oh, I love that.
You love that kind of
I really
command,
like that.
don't you?
I like to cut them off when they're talking. That's even more fun.
So do I.
Okay, ladies, I'm going to ask you questions now about your husbands and your lives together. When you have an answer you think he'll recognize, push that button in front of you, okay? I'll only take one response, so you got to be first on the button. Here is the first question. Not yet, not yet. Oh, Joanne, I don't know. Here we go. A birthday you will never forget. Whoa! And you are very fast.
Yes,
You've
well,
got a quick
he
rise.
gave me a surprise party that just ended all surprise parties. He hired a Circle Line boat which goes around Manhattan Island.
Oh,
This
that's
was
wonderful.
a total surprise to me. Had 75 people. He had an orchestra. He had arranged the food. He had arranged everything. It was just absolutely fabulous.
What a wonderful idea.
So let's see.
Now we need a 1 or 2 word clue.
Well, let's try. Now, what's the clue again?
A birthday you will never forget.
Let's try boat.
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 1 word clue. Boat.
Boat. Boat. Okay.
Okay. Shh. Let's not give it away. Let's bring on the fellas. Gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
We have asked the ladies a question and we have a clue. Here is the question first. A birthday you will never forget. And the clue is boat. Bill. Tell us about it, if you will, William.
Well, Ann was street walking in Venice during her birthday. There used to be a boat trip that went around Manhattan Island. And Ann had a birthday, and I luckily chartered the boat and had a bunch of people down and told her I was going down the dock to take pictures of a thing I had been in. And it was a surprise party with all her relatives and friends of mine also. And we put her on and we took her around the island, and that was her birthday.
That's right. And that's exactly what she said for $100. What a terrific idea for a party.
It really is.
Did anybody have a little too much and fall off, or you'd lose them in the East River, wouldn't you?
I did right before the check came.
All right, thank you, fellas. We'll get back to you in just a moment.
Bye.
Okay, ladies, next question coming up. Get ready. Same question, a birthday you will never forget. Betty, you are up.
Well, again, it was a surprise party that I'll never forget. It was a rather momentous birthday, and he thought it was kind of a momentous birthday before a momentous birthday. And he thought, well, this one she won't expect a surprise party. And he made it so casual that I thought I was just going to have dinner with my mother and my husband, and I were just going to a restaurant. That poor fellow even went out and bought me an outfit to wear, and casually had to con me into wearing it. And I got to the place, and they conned me upstairs with a whole long story, which I won't go into. And all our good friends were there. I kept running into 2 people at a time until it was a whole beautiful thing.
Oh.
It was the most complete surprise I've ever had.
Okay.
And only 4 of them got drunk and fell overboard. But, you know, otherwise.
Funny, and you weren't even on the water. So I wonder how they did that. Okay, what are you going to use as a clue, Betty? 1 or 2 words.
Restaurant. Okay.
Restaurant, 1 word clue.
I'll take it from you, babe.
All right, that's what your section wants. Let's bring on the fellas. Gentlemen,
Yes.
we have another question and we have another clue. Actually, we have the same question. A birthday you will never forget. And the clue is restaurant. Woo, that's close. Who was first? Alan was first. All right, Alan, tell us about that one.
Well, I thought a while ago she was going to press the buzzer. I gave her a surprise party, too. It wasn't on a boat. But it was at Chasen's restaurant here in Los Angeles, and I fooled her pretty good, and she walked in. My only concern about the whole thing was that since it was a surprise, I wanted to be darn sure she had on something that she would be pleased to be seen in. So I not only had to get her a party, I had to get her a new dress.
That's what you said. Okay. Let's see how we stand. Jo Ann and Chuck have $100. Betty and Alan have $200. Ann and Bill are in the lead with $250. Okay, we'll be back with more Tattletales in just a minute. Don't go away. Coming back for the finale. Okay, we're back. We're going to play a Tattletale Quickie now. Fellas, I'm going to ask you the question. Don't give me the answer until I ask for it. And each correct answer is worth $100. And we have a close game. Anybody can win. Here we go. Fellas, in your bachelor days, which turned you on the most? In your bachelor days? Short skirts, tight slacks, or plunging necklines?
Oh, my.
In your bachelor days. Bachelor days, I'm making that definite. Which turned you on the most? Short skirts, tight slacks, or plunging necklines? We'll get back to you in just a moment.
I know. It's a shoe-in.
In his bachelor days, which one of those 3 turned Alan on the most, Betty, do you think?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I tell you, Alan has had so few bachelor days. He was married for years and years and years to a lovely lady who has since passed away, and then he's been married to me, so he hasn't really had a lot of time on his own. But on his free time in between, let's say, I'd say short skirts.
Short skirts.
I would say.
All right. Let's bring on Alan and see. Alan, which one of those 3 turns you on the most? In your bachelor days, that is.
I've been married all my life, so it's no different. I haven't changed. That's a terrible choice.
Really?
I think, with a very slight difference, I like the plunging neckline. What did she say? What did you say?
That. Tell him what you said, Betty.
Well, I said from just judging by your eyeballs, I would say short skirt.
Well, I wouldn't touch that. You go ahead, little lady.
No, you better not touch it. Anyway, thank you, Alan. It's no score there. Sorry. Jo Ann, how about Chuck? Which one of those 3 in his bachelor days turned him on the most?
Slightest idea.
Really?
No, because the same as Betty said, all of them, probably.
Well, you have to make a choice
Oh,
here.
fiddly-dee, do I have to?
Yes, because the question is which turned you on the most? So what do you think he is most attracted to?
Oh, I think I will say tight slacks.
Okay. Short
Well,
skirts,
I
tight
don't-
slacks,
do you
or
know?
plunging necklines? Yes, if you know, tell her, because she wants to know. No, you're gonna go, what are you gonna go with?
I think I'll go to short skirts.
You're gonna change it now? All right, now you have no complaint if she's wrong, right? Short skirts is what you're gonna say. Let's bring on Chuck. Okay, Chuck, which one of those 3 will it be? Short skirts, tight slacks, or plunging necklines?
Absolutely no question about it. In my mind, tight slacks.
You see there?
What's happening?
See there? She told you.
What?
Chuck, as you can see...
I must have been right.
That's not what she said. No. Tell her what you said, Jo Ann.
I said, I didn't know, but I would say tight slacks.
Yeah?
The audience said, no, 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 no. No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Short skirts.
Oh, get him by the throat, honey.
Your rooting section picked short skirts. I'm sorry, Chuck. No
folks,
score
you're in a
there.
lot of trouble.
Thank you. Okay, Ann, how about Bill? Which one of those three turned him on
It's an
most as a
absolute
bachelor?
shoe-in. I know exactly what he's going to say. He's going to say short skirts. He likes tight pants, but he much prefers short skirts. And the cleavage, he wouldn't have married me if that had turned him out.
All right, let's bring on Bill. Okay, Bill, which one of those three will it be? Short skirts, tight slacks, or plunging necklines when you were a bachelor turned you on the most?
When I was a bachelor. It's another way of asking me whether I'm a leg man or one of those other three choices. Short skirts, dude.
For the day are Ann and Bill Cullen. Okay, Ann and Bill, you have won $350 for your rooting section. We add $1,000 to that for a grand total of $1,350. Okay, dokie, we'll be back in just a moment with more of Tattletales. Hang on, right after this message. Okay, we don't have much time. Today we gave away a total of $1,650 to our studio audience. Congratulations to you and congratulations to our winner, Ann and Bill Cullen. Great time to saying so long until next time, when our studio audience will be sharing the secrets and the winnings on Tattletales. See you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
This is Jack Clark speaking for Tattletales, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples. Rooting section number 1 has its money on composer-singer Chuck Woolery and movie actress Jo Ann Pflug. Rooting section number 2 backs Alan Ludden, host of Password, and Betty White of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. And rooting section number 3 is betting on Bill Cullen, host of 3 on a Match, and his wife Ann, as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
Oh, I love to kiss the middle celebrity. Thank you. Welcome to Tattletales. Thank you for tuning us in. As you know, our studio audience is divided up into 3 sections here, each one rooting for one of our celebrity couples. And every time one of our stars wins some money, it is divided by their rooting section. So, ready to go, gang? Yeah. Let's go. Now let's have a seat. Yeah, ladies out front here. Okay, we're ready to start our first round. The ladies are out here with me. Let's welcome them. Ann and your husband, Bill Cullen, sitting backstage. It's nice to have you with us. This is your first time on Tattletales.
Yes, it is.
Not the last, I hope.
Yeah, no.
Thank you for coming. The same with you, the people sitting next to you, Betty White, and her husband, Alan Ludden, sitting in the back.
What did you say?
And last, but certainly not least,
Oh, God love him.
Jo Ann Pflug. Jo Ann Pflug and her husband, Chuck Woolery.
Yes. Hello there.
I thought it was very nice of you. I haven't said anything about your name at all until just
Why
then.
should you?
Who?
Jo Ann Pflug, I said. Okay, fellas, we're going to cut you off from sight and sound. We're going to ask some questions. We'll get back to you in just a moment. Bye. Ladies.
Yes.
I am now going to ask you questions about your husbands and your lives together. When you think you have an answer he's going to recognize, press that little button in front of you. Be quick. I'll only take one response. Okay. Not now, not now. Here's the question first. A story about your in-laws. And you punch that with a certain amount of determination,
yes.
you know?
Can it be his in-laws? I mean, my
Story about your in-laws,
yes.
either or.
Oh, it's going to be very hard to give a clue to. My husband, we've discussed before, he's a leg man. You see, we were driving in this automobile. There was a driver sitting here. Bill was sitting in the front seat. And he has a habit of reaching over and patting my knee. And the back seat was crowded, and the knee he got was my mother's. And my mother just sort of looked at me, and I looked at her, and we decided we wouldn't say anything. And then we could see he started discovering it wasn't the usual knee that he was used to. And he didn't say anything. And later we all laughed about it. But now what can I say?
Well, now we need a one-word clue or a two-word clue. One
Knee
word worth
or leg?
$100, a two-word.
Knee or leg, maybe.
Well,
Let's say, okay, a knee.
wanna go
say
for
a
knee?
All right.
all right. A one-word clue worth $100. Let's bring on the fellas. Gentlemen, we have asked the ladies a question. We want you to sound that signal in front of you when you recognize your wife and can match her answer from the clue. Here is the question first. A story about your in-laws. And the clue is knee. Bill. You're up, Bill.
Well, I can't believe it.
I'm going to sound like the dirtiest old man you've had on.
You are.
Thank you, dear. I want you to know, if it weren't for you people that we're playing for, I wouldn't tell this story. We were riding in a car to a restaurant, as I believe, and I was sitting in the front, and my wife and her mother, and I guess someone else was back in the back, and I was like my wife's legs, and I like to remind her that I'm thinking of her, all of her. But I had my hand over the back seat, and I was gently and rather lovingly, nothing fresh, caressing my wife's knee and thigh, and all of a sudden, about halfway to the restaurant, or 10 minutes later, I looked back and it was her mother's leg I was trying to get.
That's exactly what you said.
Mother's legs. Nice legs.
Oh, that's
How do you get along with your mother-in-law now, Bill?
Better than I do with my wife. She
Thank
has
you,
nice
gentlemen. We'll
legs.
get back to you in just a moment. Okay, ladies, you ready for the next question? Here we go. A meal you'd like to forget. Tell us about a meal you'd like to forget. Betty. It is you, Betty.
We had been married, like about 20 minutes, speaking of in-laws, we had been married about, well, a week, and I'm not what you'd call great in the kitchen. I'm not great anywhere, but in the kitchen I'm less great. And all of a sudden, we got an announcement that Alan's folks were coming up from Corpus Christi, Texas, and going to stay with us for a few days, and I panicked because I didn't know what to give them to eat. I thought I can entertain them, and we can put them up, but what'll I feed them? So I got a ham, and I baked the ham and prayed a lot. My mother-in-law's a very good cook. And I gave them ham, I think, every single day for the entire thing. It was the only thing I could cook.
Okay, so I hesitate to ask a one or two word clue, which would probably be.
It was sad. You don't know how sad it was. Ham.
Ham, it's got to be the clue. That'll be interesting, that clue. All three of them might think that means them, won't they? All right, let's bring on the fellas. Gentlemen, we have yet another question and another clue. Here is the question first. A meal you'd like to forget. And the clue is ham. Ham.
See, you forgot.
Not only you'd like to forget it, you did forget it. Does that sound familiar to you, Alan?
Oh, that's fun.
good, Bill.
Now, don't pick on him, fellas, for God's sakes.
Funny.
Ham?
Yeah.
Speaking.
Tell him what you said, Betty.
Well, maybe he did forget it, but when we were married very briefly, don't you remember your folks came up from Corpus Christi and I gave them ham every single meal because it was the only thing I could cook. I cooked one ham and stretched it for 2 weeks.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I blocked that whole thing out of my
Yes, you
memory.
certainly did, and very successfully,
I'm
too, I
sorry
might
about
add.
that,
All
honey.
right, at this point, Jo Ann and Chuck have yet to score. Betty and Alan have 0. Ann and Bill are in the lead with $100.
Cooking here.
All right,
Get 'em
now
on
we're
hand.
going to play a little Tattletale Quickie. Shall we
Good.
do that? Okay,
Yeah.
fellas, I am going to go up here and get one of them.
I got to get a point now, one way or another.
All
do
right, we'll see. Fellas, I'm going to ask you this question. Don't give me the answer until I ask for it. Each correct answer is worth $100. Here it is. Men, do you believe that high school girls should be given the birth control pill? Shakes me up, I can't even read it. Do you believe that high school girls should be given the birth control pill if they ask for it? Let me repeat it. Men, do you believe that high school girls should be given the birth control pill if they ask for it? That's rather provocative. Thank you, fellas. We'll come back to you in a moment. Think about it. Ann, how do you think Bill will
that's
react to that?
Very difficult. Very difficult. Well, you have the feeling if they ask for it, it might be a good idea to give them one because otherwise they might get pregnant. Right? I mean, that's certainly what they have in mind.
And those are all the boys.
I'd say maybe he would say then, yeah, if they ask for it.
Yes, if they ask for it.
Yeah.
So your answer is yes?
Yes.
Okay, let's bring on Bill. Bill,
Yes.
do you believe that high school girls should be given the birth control pill if they ask for it?
I sincerely wish they'd had him when I was in high school. But, no, there's no question in my mind. If they ask for it, absolutely yes.
That's what I said. That's right, for $100, Bill. All right, thank you, sir. Okay, Betty, how about Alan? What would you say?
As you put it so well, the birth control poll, is that what you called it?
No, I did not. I didn't say that.
Oh, I think Alan would invariably say absolutely yes. If they ask for it, give it to them. And the pills, too, yes.
We're not going to let this little shindig get out of hand, are we, folks? Let's bring on Alan, shall we? Alan, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think if a high school girl asks for a birth control pill, she's already decided what she's going to do. So I think, yes, you should give it to her.
That's what Betty said. The $100, you're right. Okay, thank you, Alan. Okay, Joanne.
Oh, fiddly-dee.
How about Chuck? What would he say about that?
Isn't this dreadful? I go, I don't know. Well, if they ask for it, that's the tricky
That's the
part
point.
of it.
Men, do you believe that high school girls should be given the birth control pill if they ask for it?
I think he'd probably say no, because he wouldn't want to encourage them.
Okay, you say no.
No.
Okay, she's the one that lives with the man. Let's bring him on. Okay, Chuck.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, hello?
How do you feel about that question? Do you want me to read it to you again, or do you remember?
No, I remember. That's an interesting question. It really is. I think, of course, naturally, if they had the training at home and everything, they probably wouldn't want it to begin with. But if a girl asks for it, and she's going to do that anyway, I guess it's best to keep her from not getting pregnant. So, yeah, I think you ought to give it to her.
You hear that, man? Tell him what you said, Joanne. He might find it
you would
interesting.
say no because you didn't want to encourage them.
No, I wouldn't want to encourage them either, but if they're going to do it, I mean, you know, what are you going to say? Go ahead, get pregnant,
Okay,
baby.
sorry, no score there.
Chuck.
So let's see. At this point, Joanne and Chuck have 0. Betty and Alan have $100. Ann and Bill are in the lead with $200. Let's change places, ladies. To the rear. Gentlemen, come on out here, front and center. We'll be back with more of Tattletales right after this message for you. Don't go away. Okay, we're back. As you know, our studio audience is sharing in the winnings of our celebrity couples. We have a check writing machine out there that does it right after the show. But let me remind you of this. If you're in the winning rooting section when backing our winningest couple today, we will add as a bonus $1,000. Gentlemen, it's nice to have you out here with us.
Who has $1,000?
No. We'll add a bonus of $1,000 to the winning couple.
It'll go to that group right
Their
there.
winnings rooting section. Okay, let's bring on the ladies, see how they're doing back there. Ladies, can you hear us okay now?
Yes.
All right, in just a moment you won't be able to. We're going to cut you off and put you in solitary confinement so you can't, okay? We'll get back to you in a minute. Goodbye, ladies. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Missed all their goodbyes. Gentlemen, you know the rules. I'm going to ask you questions about your wives, your lives together. When you have an answer you think she'll recognize, press that little button in front of you. Be quick, though. Gosh, you all look terrific.
Oh, thank you. You look lovely yourself.
What terrific outfits they have. Wow.
He's got the tag to
Okay.
his suit.
What's that, the tag to your suit?
I got the tag to this suit. It's a 48 short.
size.
All right, gentlemen, here we go. First question, get ready. A time one of you was mistaken for somebody else. All right, Chuck, tell us about a time you were mistaken for somebody else.
There's no question about this because it actually is to do with the first story about champagne that I told yesterday. Because when I first was introduced to Jo Ann Pflug and told about her and everything, I thought she was Sally Kellerman.
You did?
And I honestly thought she was Sally Kellerman because I'd never seen her. It just said the nurse on MASH.
Did you see MASH?
So obviously it was a mistaken identity. What?
Okay, so it's a time somebody mistake. Well, the question is a time one of you was mistaken for somebody else. So that's one of you. That's her.
Yeah, it was her.
You mistook
I
her
mistook her
else.
for Sally Kellerman.
All right, well, we need a clue now, and it can't be a name. So one-word clue worth $100, two-word clue worth $50.
Can't be man.
No, can't
Can't
use
be
that.
MASH.
I don't
Okay,
believe.
I've got it. Got to use a two-word clue, though.
All right.
It's got to be blind date. Has to be.
Blind date.
Yeah, because that's the first time I.
All right, now
I
you remember
found
what
out she
happened over in
wasn't.
this section when they insisted on
She'll
an
never
answer.
get this. There's no
All
way.
right, you're going to say a time one of you was mistaken for somebody else, and you're going to say blind date.
Yeah,
Let's bring
she'll
on-
never get it, though.
Quiet now, quiet. Let's bring on the ladies. Shh. Ladies, we have asked the fellas a question. When you can match his answer from the clue, sound your signal. Here is the question first. A time one of you was mistaken for somebody else. And the clue is blind date. Jo Ann!
Terrific.
Tell us about that, Jo Ann, if you will.
Well, we had a blind date.
Yes?
That's how we met, and he thought I was Sally Kellerman.
Hey, that's what he said.
Way to go.
That's worth $50.
Didn't think she'd get it. That's great.
He didn't think you'd get that. He thought that was kind of tough.
I want to know how long it took him to discover she wasn't.
He's sitting right next to you, Alan. Why don't you ask him? How long did it take you to discover she wasn't?
Actually, it took quite a while. I went in the front door, and there were 15 or 20 people in her apartment on this date. Nobody introduced us, and there were all these blondes around. I kept saying, oh, that's not her. Oh, that's not her. And finally, over by the piano, I turned to David Ladd, and I said, listen, if that was her, it'd be a little different. He said, stupid, that's her. Oh, and I went, oh terrific.
Okay.
Oh, you're so
That's it.
sweet.
Isn't he sweet? I don't believe a word of it. All right, ladies, we'll get back to you in just a moment. Thank you. Gentlemen, are you ready? Next question coming up. Here we go. A memorable anniversary. Alan.
Memorable.
All right, Alan, tell us about a memorable anniversary, if you will.
We haven't had one that wasn't memorable. There have been those that we weren't too happy about each other. But I'm going to pick, of all the 11 or the 10, I'm going to pick...
Well, how many is it?
Hopefully 11.
I can't use a proper name, can I? We had an anniversary in the Caribbean, in Jamaica. We had an anniversary. I can't use a proper name. It's getting more difficult by the moment. I can say islands, though, can't I?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we had an anniversary in the islands. It was very happy. I had bought her a ring, and it was just... I think anniversaries are the best time of the year anyway, so I'll say islands.
Islands. One-word clue, and the clue
And
is
let
islands.
her tell you about it.
I said the clue is islands. I probably should say the clue are islands.
Oh, you go ahead. Say the clue is
The
islands.
clue is islands.
Okay.
All right. Let's bring on the ladies. Shh, shh. Ladies, we have another question. We have another clue. Here is the question first. A memorable anniversary. And the clue is islands. Jo Ann. Jo Ann, tell us about that.
Anniversary.
A memorable anniversary. The clue was islands.
And I was thinking it was our honeymoon when we spent our honeymoon of New Year's Eve with all my friends on a boat in Key
Yes,
West.
I remember that.
Oh, that's a fascinating story. Jo Ann. Absolutely fascinating, but that
Sounds
isn't
like
what-
something Sally Kellerman would say.
That's not what Chuck said.
Get your heart out, Bill Ludden.
That isn't what Chuck said. Betty, does that sound vaguely familiar to you?
I'm just not fast enough on my buzzer, as they say, but
I've always thought you were.
I wouldn't touch that line with a forklift.
We had our 10th wedding, not our last necessarily anniversary, although the jury's still out.
Remember, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
We had our anniversary in the Greek islands, and that was our anniversary present to each other, I thought. Until
Well, you're still not there yet,
he
quite.
surprised me with a ring.
Alan,
That's a
tell her what
better
you
story.
said.
That's
a better
true.
story.
That's very true, though. Our 10th anniversary present was a trip to the Greek islands, which was marvelous. And why didn't I think of that in the
No,
first
why
place?
didn't either one of you? I'm sorry,
Is
no
another
score
one?
there, dear. Yeah, he was mentioning Jamaica and all kinds of places. At this point, let's get our
Jamaica.
score. Jo Ann and Chuck have $50. Betty and Alan have $100. Ann and Bill are in the lead with $200. We'll be right back with more Tattletales after this message for you. Come back. Okay, we are back. We're going to play a Tattletale Quickie round now.
Yeah.
Ladies, I'm going to ask you the question. Don't give me the answer until I ask for it, okay? Here it is. Ladies, if they drafted women would you be best as a paratrooper, a drill sergeant, or a chaplain? Ladies, if they drafted women, would you be best as a paratrooper, a drill sergeant, or as a chaplain? Think about that. We'll come back to you in just a moment. All right, Bill, how do you think Ann sees herself in the Army? As a paratrooper, a drill sergeant, or a chaplain?
Well, Ann is not a powerful person as far as she will not inflict her personality or order anybody, so drill sergeant is out. Chaplain, she's never lectured me or anyone that I know. I by the process of elimination, I'm left with the fact she's well coordinated, she loves to fly, airplane-wise.
Yes.
And she would probably have trouble screwing up her courage to the jumping point, but I'll go along with the paratrooper, which I did. Geronimo, if you don't mind.
All right, let's bring on Ann. Okay, Ann, which one of those three do you think you would prefer? A paratrooper, a drill sergeant, or a chaplain?
I don't like any of them, but I'll take a paratrooper.
And just for fun, why do you think that? I mean, if you...
Well, the other two are out of the question.
That's what he said, too. You matched it again. Okay, thank you, Ann. Alan, how about Betty? Which one of those three?
Well, the other two are not too good either, are out of the question for her, too. And the only thing about, she doesn't like heights, but the only thing about the paratrooper would be close to the Air Force, and she's been very fond of the Air Force throughout her career, I must say.
That's a very loaded statement.
Would you like to know more about that? Well,
No,
it says, in any case, she will no doubt say paratrooper with the excuse that she'll say paratrooper is what she'll say.
Period. Okay, let's bring her on and find out. Betty. Betty.
Yes?
Which one of those three, if you were drafted, do you think you would be best at?
Well, I'm not too great with heights, so paratrooper's out, and I really think that the chaplain, I'd never make the weight, so I would definitely be a drill sergeant.
That's not the one that Alan picked.
Honey,
Tell her what you said, Alan.
Is that the same Alan Ludden I know out there?
I believe it is, yes. Looks just like
I just thought the nearness to the Air Force would attract you to the paratrooper. I'm sorry, go
That
ahead.
first step is a son of a gun.
Okay, sorry, Betty. No score there. All right, Chuck, how about Jo Ann?
Chaplain.
Hello?
Chaplain.
Did you understand the question?
Yeah, I think I was going to try to do it real quick because she's a very spiritual person and everything, and she jumps good, but...
Okay, that's it.
Chaplain.
Let's bring on Jo Ann. Let's bring on Jo Ann. Jo Ann,
Yes?
which one of those three, dear, would you think you'd be best at?
I'm scared of heights, so I wouldn't jump, and I wouldn't like to be a DI, and so I would say I'd be a chaplain.
That's what he said. $100.
Way to go, sweetheart.
Okay.
You got a lot of class.
At this point, wait a minute, that means our time is up. Our winners for the day are Ann and Bill Cullen. All right, Ann and Bill, you've won $300. We had $1,000 to that for a total of $1,300 for your winning section. Okay. We'll be back in just a moment with more Tattletales after this message for you. Hang on. That's all we have time for. We're very late. We gave away $1,550 today. Tune in tomorrow on Tattletales. Bert Convy, so long. See you next time.
This is Jack Clark speaking for Tattletales, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples. Rooting section number 1 has its money on Bill Cullen, host of 3 on a Match, and his wife, Ann. Rooting section number 2 backs composer-singer Chuck Woolery and movie actress Jo Ann Pflug. And rooting section number 3 is betting on Alan Ludden, host of Password, and Betty White of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
You come here often? Live in the neighborhood, do you, huh? Thank you. Welcome to Tattletales. It's nice to have you with us today. We have a terrific studio audience and three wonderful celebrity couples. As you know, our audience is divided into three sections, each one rooting for one of these couples. And every time one of our stars wins some money, it is divided among their rooting section. So let's start things off. Fellas, have a seat with me. Ladies, if you will, step to the rear. And we'll be back to start Tattletales in just a moment. Okay, we're back, ready to go. The fellas are sitting out here with me, and they are.
Yes.
Mr. It says on
Bill,
here, Alan Ludden and his wife, Betty White, in the lights. It's nice to have you with us on Tattletales. Thank you for coming.
Nice
Next to
to
you
be
is
here.
Chuck Woolery and Jo Ann Pflug, his wife.
That's my section.
Wow,
The loudest group.
all I can say to you two is good luck.
Thank you. We won't need it.
Because if you don't have it... and next to you is Bill
Lynching.
Cullen and his wife, Ann. Thank you for coming, Bill. Ann.
There we are. Got a little rivalry going on.
Well, I think we have a little rivalry is right out here today. Okay,
group sounds
ladies,
kinda quiet.
we're going to cut you off. We'll get back to you in just a moment. Don't go away now.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Gentlemen.
Yes.
Oh, no, they're with you, Alan. Aren't you, gang? You're with him.
yeah.
Sure. Okay. We're going to ask you some
5 rows
questions
are
now
asleep.
about your wives and your lives together. When you have an answer you think your wife will recognize, press that button in front of you. Be quick, because I'm only going to take one response. So you got to be first. Here we go. First question. A story connected with an animal. Chuck.
He's gonna get killed.
Who
That was
disguises
fast.
Chuck
He
Woolery?
beat me.
He did beat you, sir. He
You know
certainly
what
did.
slowed me up was there's so many.
Yeah.
You're right.
I should have said excluding your husband. A
Yes.
story connected with an animal is what we're after, Chuck.
Not too long ago, a few months ago, we got a new addition to our family by the name of Molly. And Molly is a Great Dane.
Oh.
And weighs about 185 pounds. And Molly has a habit of sleeping with us all the time. When we don't want her to, she'll climb into bed with us. So one morning, Jo Ann was being pushed out of bed, and she thought it was by me, only to find out after she pulled the covers back that it was the Great Dane pushing her out of bed. And so we got rid of Molly. She's not with us anymore. She decided if we were going to sleep together, the dog wasn't going to be with us. And it's more fun, I have to admit.
Yeah, I was going to say, given a choice, I think that
Yeah, I think
you
I'll
made
take-
the right
sure,
decision.
yeah. She's not a dog.
What we need now
I wouldn't
is a one.
Hello?
Students, please.
Yes,
Please don't
okay,
mind.
yeah.
What we need is a one-word clue worth $100 or a two-word clue worth $50 to your rooting section.
Dane. Dane.
Is that okay?
Dane.
Dane?
Hello?
All right.
She'll think of some guy with blonde hair. Eric.
All right, let's bring on the ladies. Shh, shh, shh. Ladies, we have asked the gentleman a question and we have received a clue. When you recognize...
Answer.
Yes, oh yes, we're having a good time out here. When you recognize your husband from the clue and can match his story, sound that signal in front of you, all right?
Okay, I'm
Here we
still
go.
stuck on Jim.
Here is the question first. The question is, a story connected with an animal. And the clue is Dane. All right, tell us about that, Jo Ann.
Oh, there was this big woman that moved in for us.
Wait a minute.
Her name was Molly, and she was supposedly 6 months old, and I think she was 3 years old. She was so big. And she had a way of sneaking into bed at night with you. And one morning I woke up and
That's very sad. That matches the story for $100. I think. Well, but we heard the story from Chuck very nice, except
Oh, okay, Bert, I know.
didn't-
Cut it, we're running short.
No, it's not that. I think we should clear up one thing, though. You never mentioned it was a dog. You did mean
Well, I
it.
was just going to say
No,
that, see?
that's the story. No, that's an absolute match. Thank you, ladies. We'll get back to you in a minute.
Way to go, sweetie.
We
pie.
said animal, and we all knew that the Dane meant that, didn't we? All right. Fellas, ready to go? Here's the next question. Same question. A story connected with an animal.
Now, I gotta tell you, gang, I could tell you 15 stories connected with an animal about this wife I'm married to, this lady I'm married to. But I'll pick the one. At one point in our lives, we lived in Westchester. And we used to go riding over to Sleepy Hollow Country Club. And driving back, we would go by the Rockefeller farm, and there were Black Angus cattle. And Betty, the second time we drove by, said, and I thought she was kidding, she said, "You never let me talk to these cattle." So the third time we rode by, she said, "You still never let me talk to these cattle." Finally, I stopped the car, and she walked up to the fence, and I promise you, there were no Black Angus cattle at that fence. But she started talking to one about 50 feet away. In about 10 minutes, she had 200 Black Angus cattle lined up at that fence, and she was talking to all of them. I promise it's a true story. Now, what am I going to use as a clue?
Gossiping over the back fence with the ladies, huh?
All right.
We need a
Now,
one or
if
two
he
word
can
clues,
use Dane, I can use Angus, right?
Can he use Angus? Angus cattle.
How about bull session?
Yes, the answer is yes, you may.
All right.
Bill had a great line. How about bull session?
What was that, Bill?
I think a good clue is bull session. I know the stories you tell.
It's 2 words, if you'll forgive the expression. All right.
It's 2
We'll
words.
go with Angus, and if she doesn't get it, it's the end.
She's going to be feverishly thinking of somebody named Angus back
Yeah.
there. Okay, let's bring on the ladies. Ladies, we have asked another question. It is, in fact, the same question. A story connected with an animal. We have a clue. It is this. Angus. A story connected with an animal. Betty. All right, Betty, tell us that story.
Well, I'm an animal freak, as you know, about anything. And before Alan realized that, when we first were starting to walk out together,
Walk out.
walk out together, we were driving
Run around.
one day, and I happened to mention that I had never petted a cow, and I loved cows. We passed this field of Angus bulls, and I didn't know the difference, you see, between a bull and a cow.
The heck she did.
So I went over to the fence, and I just kind of, I guess I called them, and pretty soon, because they knew that I guess the vibrations were right, they began to gather. Pretty soon I had a whole bunch of Angus.
That's what the man said for $100.
That's a girl. I knew she was a little weird from then on.
I talked to the cows.
Yeah.
Okay, Ann and Bill have yet to score. Jo Ann and Chuck have $100, as do Betty and Alan have $100. Have a tie game at this point. All right, now, ladies, we're gonna play a Tattletale Quickie now.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick it up here and read it to you. I'm going to ask you this question, ladies. Don't give me the answer until we ask for it. Each correct answer is worth $100. Here's the question. Ladies, back in the 40s, college kids swallowed live goldfish. The latest fad is streaking.
Hello?
If you were being initiated into a sorority, which would you rather do?
Oh, no.
Swallow a goldfish or streak? That is the question. If you were being
that's
initiated
just
into a sorority, which would you rather do? Swallow a goldfish or streak? We'll be back to you in a moment, ladies. Okay. Ah, yes. Now we'll find out, won't we? Ellen, how about Betty? Which would she rather do if she were being initiated?
Well, she's an animal freak. She says that. So swallowing a goldfish would mean killing a live animal, right? Mm-hmm. But she's also relatively modest. But I think she'd rather
Careful when
streak.
her mother's around. That's what.
Streak.
He says streak. Let's see.
I don't know what she's gonna say.
Well, we'll find out right now. Hold on a second. Let's bring on Betty. Betty,
Yes. No,
you look a little perplexed there.
I am.
All right, now which one of those would you prefer to do if you were being initiated?
There's just no way out of this one. I tell you, you're not going to be able to bear this answer. I'd streak.
That's what he said. Absolutely $100 for the bare facts there. We got it, didn't we? Thank you, Betty. All right, Chuck, how about Jo Ann?
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, she's definitely got the anatomy to streak, but I think she'd swallow a goldfish because she's really, yeah, I think she would. You don't think so? You're wrong.
He lives with her. You
She
say-
would swallow a goldfish, excuse me.
You say she would
Swallow a goldfish.
Okay, let's bring on Jo Ann. All right, Jo Ann.
You make
know,
me sick.
You know the question. Which one would you do?
I don't want to do either.
Well, but you have to make for the sake
Okay,
of
I'll
this question.
swallow a goldfish.
She's very modest, I knew that.
He did say you had the equipment for streaking, and nobody argued with him, however. Thank you, Jo Ann. Okay, Bill, how about Ann?
Well,
Which one of
I
those?
met with a problem. Bert, my wife has an anatomy to streak, and she's a big eater. I have a picture of her in my mind, streaking down the street, swallowing goldfish. Reckless abandon.
Oh, wait till we all get the same picture. Oh,
Right,
yes,
you
that's
got
right.
it? Now, given the choice, I know exactly what she'd do. As much as it would make her sad, she would swallow the goldfish.
Really? All right.
Yep.
Let's
and then
see.
some.
Let's see if you've got it on the button here. Let's bring on Ann. Ann?
Yes.
Okay, dear, which one of those would you do?
Streak.
Boy, she didn't hesitate a moment either.
Bang.
Animals are...
Yes.
That's not what Bill said,
Swallow a
obviously.
streaking goldfish.
Right.
Oh, really?
No, he didn't agree with you.
That's the first time
But they
all week the
pull them
Cullens have
back
been
up
wrong.
She won't even
Terrible
streak for me at night. Every night I say to her, before we go to bed, I say, get sexy, and she swallows a goldfish. And I'm sorry.
Bill, there's a message there.
I don't know, Bill. Whatever
Is that
turns
my
you on,
wife in
Bill.
that box?
Yeah, there she is, right there. She
Well,
hasn't
there's
got a
going to be
goldfish in her
trouble
mouth
in
either.
Reno tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
At this point, Ann and Bill have yet to score.
Yeah,
Joanne
that's
and
true,
Chuck
too. That's another thing to bring up.
and Betty and Alan have $200. That's halftime, ladies and gentlemen. Let's change places. Call us to the rear. Ladies, come on out here. While we're switching places, we'll break away for this message, but we'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, we've changed places, but let me remind you, of course, our studio audience is sharing the winnings of our celebrity couples, but let me tell you this. If you're in the rooting section that is backing our winningest couple at the end of today's show, we will add as a bonus $1,000. You all look absolutely lovely.
So do you.
Thank you. Let's see if your husbands look lovely on television. Are they there?
Yes.
Gentlemen, oh, you all look sterling on the screen, I must say.
Sterling.
Yeah, Sterling who?
I don't know.
Sterling Holloway, Bob Sterling, and Sterling.
All right, gang, we'll get back to you in just a minute, fellas. Enjoy the music on those earphones. Ladies, I am now going to ask you questions about your husbands and your lives together. When you have an answer you think he'll recognize, press that little red button in front of you and be fast, because I'm only going to take one answer. Not now, not now. Keep your hands to your sides. Here we go. Here's the first question. It happened in the moonlight.
In the moonlight?
That's the question. It happened in the
I'll
moonlight.
make up something.
Joanne. You're on, Joanne. It's
I'm
you.
on?
Yes.
Doo-dah, doo-dah. Okay, I'll tell you what happened. We were on our honeymoon
Yes.
in the Florida Keys
Yes.
with all of my friends
Yes.
on a boat.
Oh.
And he ended up having to serenade them with his guitar. Well, it was fun. I'm trying to win for you. At least you could do was cheer me on. And the moonlight was above.
And the moonlight was above, yes.
Well, it was New Year's Eve.
It was New Year's.
I'm just trying not to make you ashamed over there.
You keep adding to it. It was the honeymoon, New Year's Eve, the moonlight above.
But I mean, Victor, would you like to spend your honeymoon with all your wives' ex-friends?
All your wives? No,
I mean,
not at all. All my wives' ex-friends? It depends on what you mean by friends, yes. All right, what we need now from you, Joanne, is a one or two word clue that Chuck's going to have a glimmer of what you're talking
Oh,
about.
fiddly dee.
No, that's 2 words.
What's the question?
The question was, it happened in the moonlight, and fiddly dee is not a clue. I don't think you'll get that.
Oh, my goodness.
It happened in the moonlight.
Happened in the moonlight. I'm going to have to go with 2 words.
Okay, sure.
I'm sorry. It has to be Key West.
What's that?
Has to be Key West.
Well, no, you can't use Key West. It's a place.
Oh, it's a place?
Yes, it is.
So it'll have to be boat.
Boat.
Oh. Hope
That's
it'll,
the-
yeah, okay,
You
we'll
wanna
try
go with
boat. Yeah.
She's going to try boat, a one-word
try
clue.
it.
Shh, everybody be quiet.
It's not a funny story, but it's true.
Here we go. Let's bring on the fellas.
Yes.
Gentlemen, we
Yes.
have a question from the ladies here. We have a clue from them as well. Here is the question first. It happened in the moonlight. The clue is boat. Chuck. All right, Chuck, tell us about that if you will, sir.
Yeah, on our honeymoon, As a matter of fact, in the Florida Keys, we spent not only our honeymoon, but New Year's Eve with her friends aboard a cruiser in the moonlight. It was terrific. It really was. I have to.
That's exactly what you said. That's what
They didn't laugh
It
when
was a
I
little
did it.
crowded there for a while.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
We heard about that. Thanks, fellas. We'll be back to you in just a moment. All right, ladies, you ready? Here comes the next question.
Okay.
A story about bedtime. Betty. You are up, Betty. Let's hear that story.
I think that was more a reflex action than anything else. Well, I tell you, once in a while I have my hair done. Not necessarily today, but once in a while. And on the night that I have my hair done, I don't want him to see me with this bonnet that I wear, but I wait till we turn out the light, and then just in one motion, I turn the light out, and I roll over and put my head on his shoulder. We always start that way, to go to sleep. In one motion, as I turn the light out, I slip this bonnet on, and I'm over, and he never can figure out how I get it on from the time I turn the light out here till I get on his shoulder.
Okay, so now we need a clue for that.
You had to be there. Or were you? Bonnet. Bonnet.
Bonnet. Okay. Shh, let's bring on the fellas, shall we? Gentlemen, we have another question and another clue. Here is the question first. A story about bedtime. And the clue is bonnet. Alan, you're up, sir. Tell us that story, Alan.
I gotta tell you, Betty has many talents, but among them is being a great master of sleight of hand. When she goes to the beauty parlor, the day she goes to the beauty parlor, she doesn't want to get her hair messed up while she sleeps. On the other hand, she doesn't want me to see her in that thing she puts on while she sleeps to cover up her hair. And I promise you, I have never seen it, because in the time that it takes her to reach over and turn on that light beside her, she can put that hat on and be back in my arms, and I don't know till I feel it.
That's
she's got
what
it
you
on.
said. Okay. Thank you, Alan. All right. At this point, Ann and Bill still have 0. Joanne and Chuck and Betty and Alan are tied with $300 apiece. Okay. We have a close game here. We'll be back with more Tattletales in just a moment after this message for you. Okay, we're back. We're going to play a Tattletale Quickie now, and we have a tie game. So this is a good question, fellas.
Okay.
Pay attention. I'm going to ask you the question. Give me the answer, but not until I ask for it. Each correct answer is worth $100. Here we go. Men, suppose there's a mirror in the room. Which of you is more apt to steal a look at yourself, you or your wife? Suppose there's a mirror in the room. Which of you is more apt to steal a look at yourself, you or your wife? Think that over, fellas. Very revealing. We'll be back to you in just a moment. Okay,
Is he gone?
Yes,
Are
he's
we
gone.
alone?
He's definitely
I thought
gone.
he'd never leave. No contest. Alan cannot resist a mirror, even if the water gets a little still. He just has to... Alan would look
you
in
will
the mirror.
say he will be the one.
He will be the first.
Who cannot resist
And the last.
stealing a look at himself in the mirror first.
And in the middle.
Okay. Let's bring on Alan. Okay, Alan. You know the question, sir. Which of you is more apt to steal a look at yourself in that mirror?
Well, I'm very insecure. I am.
That's what you said, $100. Thank you, Alan. Okay, Joanne, how about Chuck? Which one of you would go
Well, this
first?
is going to be very difficult, because on Monday he called me vain, and he was very upset about it. And now I know I look in the mirror much more than he does.
Yes. So
I know I do. So I'll say I do.
You say you do. Okay. Let's bring on Chuck.
Now he's going to try and
Chuck.
He just got choked by Mark Goodson.
Chuck, which one of those that applies to you? Which one of you do you think goes to the mirror?
Yeah, Jo Ann.
That's what he said. $100. Thank you, Chuck. Okay, Ann, between you and Bill, which one is more apt to steal a look at that mirror?
Stealing a look, I'd say Bill. I mean, I use the mirror more because it takes longer to put on a face. But stealing a look, I'd say Bill. But I think he's going to say me, so I've got to say me.
So you say you?
Yeah.
I think I followed that. Okay.
Yes.
You say you.
I
Let's
don't know
bring on
why
Bill.
you couldn't.
Okay, let's bring on Bill.
Yeah, hi there.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, I've done great so far.
Yes. Got a perfect record, Bill.
Yep.
Which of you is more apt to steal that look at the mirror?
Is it before or after she swallowed a goldfish?
It doesn't say that on my card, sir.
I cannot tell a lie. I want to be sure I'm still there. It's me who would steal a look at her.
Nevertheless, sir, that's not what you said, so you still haven't. That means our time is up. We have a tie game. Betty and Alan, Jo Ann and Chuck are the winners today. Betty and Alan, Jo Ann and Chuck, you each won $400. We split $1,000 between you for a total of $1,900 between you. Okay, we'll be back with more of Tattletales in just a moment. Thank you.
This is Jack Clark speaking for Tattletales, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples. Rooting section number 1 has its money on composer-singer Chuck Woolery and movie actress Jo Ann Pflug. Rooting section number 2 backs Alan Ludden, host of Password, and Betty White of The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Rooting section number 3 is betting on TV host Bill Cullen and his wife Ann as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
Two minds with but a single thought. Thank you. Welcome to Tattletales. It's nice to have you with us at home. Nice to have our studio audience. Nice to have our celebrities. Nice to have me. Aren't we all happy and having a good time? As our studio audience, of course, divided into 3 sections, each one backing one of our celebrity couples. And every time one of our stars wins some money, it is divided among their rooting sections. So, ladies, if you will, have a seat with me. Fellas, step to the rear, and we'll get rolling with Tattletales in just a moment after this message for you. See you in a minute. Okay, we're back, ready to get things rolling here. The ladies are having a seat here with me. Of course, first here on my right is Ann Cullen and her husband, Bill Cullen, in the box. And you look lovely today.
Those people don't like him.
They
Those
don't.
people are clapping for my husband and they're like
Oh, that's all right. They'll pick sides. They know who to root for. Bill, you look lovely, too.
Thank you very much, Bert. It feels sweet.
Yeah, didn't mean to slight you there. Next to Ann and Bill is Betty White and her husband, Alan Ludden. Thank you for joining us today, folks.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you, Dimples. Betty.
Look who's talking.
Yeah, how about that? We got 4 between us, haven't we? Or maybe more.
Watch it. Watch it.
Sorry, Alan. Moving right along, folks. Next to you is Jo Ann Pflug and her husband, Chuck Woolery. All right, gentlemen, you know what we're going to do. We're going to cut you off so you can't see or hear what we're doing out here, but we'll be back to you in a moment. Bye. Now, ladies, I'm going to ask you some questions about your husbands and your lives together. When you have an answer you think he'll recognize, press that button in front of you, okay? Okay. Here we go. It happened during a wedding. Jo Ann. I think we just lost Jo Ann. You were fast, Ann, but it locked in quick enough, and Jo Ann was
And I just
first.
fell off the stool.
I'm in anticipation of this terrific story you're about to tell
I know,
us.
and I am too. It happened during a wedding.
Don't look at me. We're not even engaged.
I guess it would have to... See, my stories aren't very funny, but they're true, okay?
That's what counts.
What was that?
Does that mean too much time? Oh, okay, we'll move right along. Next question, here we go. Same question, it happened during a wedding.
Bill and I were married in New York City at a judge's apartment, and we got all ready to go and all dressed up and all pretty, very tiny little wedding. And we arrived, and there were fire engines all up and down the street. We had to crawl over hoses to get up to the elevator, to get up to the apartment to have our little wedding. That's not very funny either.
No, it's not. That's a lot of waste time.
What was burning?
But we never did see a fire. But the fire hoses were spread all over the lobby of the apartment building. So if I say hose,
He'll know.
He'll
a
know.
one-word clue worth $100 to
Hose.
your rooting section, and it is hose.
I think it's my
Okay. Let's bring on the gentlemen.
Yellow.
All right, now, fellas, we have asked the ladies a question. We have a response. When you think you can match your wife's story from the clue, sound your signal. Okay.
Anything you say, Bert.
We got it
Yeah.
all straight here. Here's the question first. It happened during a wedding. And the clue is... No, I haven't given a clue yet. Did you accidentally bump that?
Yeah.
Was an
That was an accident.
Was an accident?
Yeah.
All right, here's the question again. It happened during a wedding, and the clue is hose. Bill. Who was first? Who was first out here?
Yeah.
Bill, you were first. You were
I was
up
first. Well, we had decided to be married in a very romantic setting, and we went to the judge's apartment, which was down on Fifth Avenue. And as we were on our way in, there had been a fire in the apartment right next door.
Oh, it was his.
And the hoses are there, and all the way in, I kept stepping over the hose, and the fireman kept saying to me, "You're going to be sorry what's going to happen to you up there at the judge's house." But anyway,
That's what she said. The fireman in the hole. Okay, that's worth $100. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you in a minute. Okay, ladies, get ready. Question number 2 coming up. Here it is. It happened while shopping. It happened while shopping. Jo Ann.
Okay. Chuck is a very compulsive buyer. And he's always bringing home funny antiques, which I love. But this one day, he arrived home with all these goldfish. And we didn't have an aquarium, so he proceeded to fill up the guest bathtub and put all the fish in there. And they're still there.
He brought home goldfish?
Yes, because he was going to have these visions of building an aquarium, you know, as a divider with all the lights and things. And then we decided to remodel the house. And so all the fish are still floating around.
How long have
the
they been in
tub.
that bathtub?
They've been there for about 2 months.
Oh, my
it
goodness.
seems like forever.
You can borrow our shower if things get really
Yeah.
No, we have a tub. This is
Oh,
the
I'm
guest
glad to hear that.
bathroom.
Whew. Okay, now we need a 1 or 2 word clue that Chuck's going to recognize.
Tub.
Tub?
Tub.
It happened while shopping, and you'll say tub.
What? 2 goldfish is 2 words.
Goldfish is 1 word. Goldfish is 1 word.
Tub.
So you want to go with tub?
Yeah.
Okay, she knows what she wants. Shh, let's not talk. All right, let's bring in the fellas. Gentlemen, we have another question. We have another clue. Here is the question first. It happened while shopping, and the clue is tub. Chuck! All right, Chuck, if you will, tell us about that.
I know what she's got. I'm a compulsive buyer. I'll buy anything. I like to buy, and I've got a thing for fish. So one day I was out and I saw some goldfish and bought a whole bunch of them, but I failed to buy an aquarium. So I took them home and they're in the guest bathtub. And they've been
That's
there for
exactly
6
what she
months.
said. All right. At this point, Betty and Alan have yet to score. Jo Ann and Chuck,
That's
Ann and Bill are
okay.
tied with $100 apiece. Okay, we're going to play a Tattletale Quickie now, and reaching over, I find it. Here it is. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you this question. Don't give me the answer until I ask for it. Each correct answer is worth $100. Men, the women's livers maintain that women are qualified for men's jobs. How about the other way around? Which of the following jobs, usually performed by a woman, would you pick for yourself if you had to? A nurse, a kindergarten teacher, or a private secretary for an important executive? Which of these jobs would you pick for yourself if you had to? A nurse, a kindergarten teacher, or a private secretary for an important executive? Think about that. We'll get back to you in just a moment. And good fishing. And how about Bill? Which one of those 3 would you think he'd pick if he had
well-paid
to?
private secretary would be his style.
You think that's where he'd
yes.
go, huh?
Yeah, I don't think he'd be a good nurse. And what's the other one?
kindergarten
no,
teacher.
No.
You don't
Couldn't
think so?
handle the kids. No, the kids would run the school.
Okay. Does he qualify as a private secretary in any way?
No.
He sits on a good lap, though, right? He's a good lap sitter.
Yes.
All right, let's bring on Bill. Okay, Bill, which one of those three will it be, sir?
I've been thinking about it, and I'm in real trouble.
It's either, if you had to pick one of those jobs for yourself, would it be a nurse, a kindergarten teacher, or a private secretary?
Okay. If I had... Seriously, a nurse.
Well, now, obviously, that's not what
How
Ann
about
said.
private secretary?
That's
How about...
number 2 choice. Tell him what you said and why there, Ann.
Well, you'd make a terrible nurse. You
I'd make
haven't
a
got the patience for that kind of thing.
And you have to have patience if you're going to be a nurse.
What a line that was. Wait a minute, folks.
Sorry about that.
And as a private secretary, I'd look pretty silly sitting there taking dictation and showing him my legs, too. Get right up to
Sorry
it.
about that, Bill. No
Sorry.
score there. Thank you. Okay, Betty, how about Alan? Which one of those jobs would he take if he had to?
I think he'd take the private secretary, and I'd give him 2 months before he took over the company.
You say private secretary
Yes, sir.
because of his business acumen.
Yes, and also he's got an awfully cute figure.
All right. Let's bring in Cutie Pie. Alan, which one of those 3 jobs would you take, sir, if you had to?
First of all, I want you to know I know all the jokes she made about some of those choices for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If she didn't, she's slipping. But in any case, I bet you she thinks I would say, and I will say, teacher.
I like your positive attitude, Alan. When you're wrong, you are really wrong, sir. Tell him what you said, Betty.
Kindergarten teacher. I said private secretary, and in 2 months you'd have the company.
Oh, bless your heart, but I type so lousy.
Well, that's one good reason why he'd
And
never
I
make
hate
it.
blood. I mean, I can't. I
But
didn't
she
be
said
in
you had a cute little figure.
Well, you got the dimples. What can I tell you?
Sorry, Alan. Thank you. No score
Sorry.
there. Okay, Joanne, how about Chuck? Which of those 3 jobs would he take away from a woman if he had to?
There's no question. He'd be a nurse, because when I'm sick, he takes good care of me. He always brings me home banana splits.
That's taking good care of you, all right?
It's great, and he's got good legs, so it'd be nice if you showed them. He'd be a nurse.
He'd be a nurse. All right.
He better be.
Oh, shh. Quiet now. Let's bring on Chuck. Chuck.
Yes,
Wake
yes.
up.
Hi,
Wake
Bert.
up. Wake up. Are you still with us?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the question?
Yes.
Which one of the 3 jobs would you take?
I adore children. I would be a kindergarten. Yeah.
See, I don't think that's not what Joanne said. Joanne, tell him what you did
What
say.
did you say?
I said you'd be a nurse, because when I'm sick, you always bring me home banana splits.
A nurse?
Well, of course.
Well, no.
Now that you hear it, doesn't sound too
And I
bad.
said you had cute legs.
I'm sorry,
true.
no score there. At this point, Betty and Alan have yet to score. Ann and Bill, Joanne and Chuck are tied with $100 apiece. And it is now halftime with the halfway mark. Ladies to the rear, if you will. Fellas, come on out here. And while we're changing places, we'll break away for this message for you, but we're coming right back. Okay, we are back. As you know, our studio audience is sharing in the winnings of our celebrity couples, but let me add this. If your rooting section is backing our winningest couple at the end of today's show, we will add as a bonus $1,000.
Okay.
All right, the gentlemen are here with me. Let's see if your wives are tuned in back there, all right? Ladies, can you hear me okay?
No.
No, you can't hear me? Are you sure you can't hear me?
Can you hear his dimples?
Okay, we're going to cut you off now from sight and sound. Pipe some music in so you can't see or hear what we're doing. See you in a minute, though. Bye.
Bye.
Gentlemen.
Yes.
You know what we're going to do now? We're going to ask you some questions about your wives and your lives together. When you have an answer she'll recognize, press that button in front of you. Here comes the first question. We have a very close game, too, by the way. Here it is. It happened in a studio. It happened in a studio. Okay, no one has a story there. Fine. We'll move on to the next question. Here's another one for you. A photograph you should not have taken. Bill. Okay, a photograph you shouldn't have taken. You should not have taken. Tell us about it, Bill.
Well, I'm a camera bug and always have been. Go everywhere with cameras in my case. And I had a new lens, a new fast film. And Ann was exercising in the living room of where we were staying in Montreal, in a hotel. And she was, she had a dress on and everything, but she was doing a handstand up against the wall. And when she did it, her robe came down, and what she had on was sort of flimsy. And I thought, gee, that's a good picture. And I took it, and the fellows at the drugstore loved it when they loved it. But I would say, you have to use 2 words for this, because I know this is something she wants to put out of her mind. You want to use 1 word? How about naked upside down? No, you'd have to say.
Well, that's certainly graphic.
Is headstand 2 words?
Headstand is 1 word.
1 word, headstand. That's got to be it.
Okay.
I hope she remembers.
That's a 1-word clue worth $100 to your rooting section. Okay, let's bring on the ladies. Ladies, we have asked the fellas a question. When you recognize your husband and can match his story from the clue, sound your signal. Here we go. Here is the question first. A photograph you should not have taken. And the clue is headstand. You're up, Ann. Tell us about that.
I lost my earphones.
Well, you don't need them now. Or yes, you do. Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know Bill had his camera, and I didn't know he could take pictures indoors. And I did a headstand, and my skirt sort of...
Sort of?
Yes. And we have that picture.
Yes, that's right. You have that picture, and the drugstore probably has 200 copies, too. That's what he said.
I saw it in a magazine the other day.
Yeah. All right, thank you, ladies. We'll come back to you in just a moment.
Can I get a credit?
Gentlemen, are you ready? Here comes the second question.
All right, we're going to get this, kids.
Here we go. What really turns her on? Chuck is first. You were fast, Alan, but Chuck was faster. Tell us about it, Chuck.
You know, it's really strange. What really turns Jo Ann more on than any single thing is candlelight. She just goes to pieces in candlelight.
What does she do?
Is that right?
Goes to pieces. You can put your own emphasis. I don't care.
Okay.
But that's a very short story, but it's true.
Well, that's what turns her on. So now we need that clue from you.
Yeah, I would say candlelight. Is that 2 words?
I think candlelight is 1 word.
Candlelight is
Yes,
1 word.
candlelight.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, 1-word clue, and it's candlelight. Let's bring on the ladies. All right, ladies, we have another question, and we have another clue. Here is the question first. What really turns her on? And the clue is candlelight. Jo Ann, you are up, my dear.
I love candles, even before the energy crisis came in. I had candles all over the place. And whenever I come home, when Chuck has candles all over, well...
That's what he said, and that's $100. Absolutely. Okay, at this point, Betty and Alan have 0. Ann and Bill, Jo Ann and Chuck are tied so far with a score of $200.
See there?
Okay. We'll be back with more Tattletales in just a moment after this message for you. Hang on. Okay, we are back. We have a good close game, at least on the outside there.
Yeah. I wouldn't say the middle's doing too
but
great.
But you get in here now. We're going to play a Tattletale Quickie. Each answer's worth a little
What was
slip there,
that?
folks.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Sorry about
Take a
that.
piece
Sorry
of
about that.
action.
No, that was a slip.
Goodson and Todman just went right over there.
Each correct answer is worth $100. I'm going to ask you the question, ladies. Here we go. Ladies, you're at home with your husband, and as you're about to pull down the shade, you notice that across the way, a gorgeous girl is getting undressed. Now, would you call your husband's attention to the show, or would you just pull down the shade and ignore it? Fess up, ladies. If you saw that gorgeous girl getting undressed, would you call your husband's attention to the show, or just pull down the shade and ignore it? Think about that one, ladies, and we'll come back to you in a moment.
We're home free,
Easy,
gang.
kids.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute.
I don't know about them, but...
I
Now,
know
that's
at
what-
least you've got $100.
Isn't that interesting? They all
Oh,
three
yeah.
are sure they know this one, right?
Yeah.
Positive they know
No
this one.
question.
Bill, let's
Piece
start
of-
off with you. How about Ann? Now, what's she going to say?
Now, there's a beautiful girl across the way. She notices, does she pull down a shade, or does she tell me?
Or does she call you over to admire the view?
This is a piece of cake. Not only does she call me over, she hands me my telescope. I can tell you right now.
That becomes a piece of cheesecake.
Now, I think I almost have to say why is that?
Well, because at my age, it's about as much fun as I can have anywhere, but I don't know why. Yeah, silly place. Sorry, Alan. No, she's a nice girl, and she knows that she can stand up to the competition.
Oh, well, that's a sweet thing to say.
The right time.
All right. Let's bring on Ann now and see what she would do. Ann.
Yes.
Now, what would you do if you saw that gorgeous girl? Would
I'd
you
tell him.
That's what he said. You went for $100. Thank you, Ann. Okay, Alan, how about Betty? How would she
Betty is
handle
the
that?
kind of gal who, when we're on a beach, will call my attention to a good-looking lady walking down in a bikini. Betty is the kind of wife who, when we're sitting on a plane, points out to me the stewardess with the short skirt she's leaning over the seat opposite us.
Is that right?
Yes, she is.
Terrific
Betty
wife?
is the kind of secure lady who wants me to enjoy whatever I can so long as she is there.
Yeah. So in this case...
And in this case, she would by all means call me over and hand me the telescope or whatever.
Okay, let's bring on Betty. Okay, Betty, what would you do if you saw that gorgeous girl over there?
Oh, that's easy. I'd say, come on over here, honey, and eat your heart out.
That's what he said, darling, for $100. Thank you, Betty. Okay, Chuck, how about Joanne?
Yeah, Joanne would be at the window going, I can't believe it, I can't believe it. Yeah, she'd ask me to come over.
She said, come
Yeah,
over and,
come over
and
and
enjoy
look.
the view?
Sure.
All right, let's see if she agrees with you. All right, Joanne, what would you do if that gorgeous girl was over there getting undressed?
Watch her. And I'd pull Chuck over to look, too.
That's what he said, for $100. Okay. Oh, no, our time is up. That means we have a tie. Ann and Bill, Joanne and Chuck are our winners today. All right, Ann and Bill, Joanne and Chuck, you've each won $300. We had $1,000. Your looting sections will split a total of $1,600. Okay, we're going to break away for a minute, and then we'll be right back after this message for you. Thank you. Okay, we're back. We don't have much time. Today we gave away a total of $1,700 to our audience. We thank you for coming, and we thank you for coming, too. It was fun to have you with us today.
Tomorrow we're going to win.
I hope so. Tune in next time when we'll be giving away more money to our studio audience, sharing our secrets on our winnings. Bert Conway, so long till next time. See you, everybody.
This is Jack Clark speaking for Tattletales, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples. Rooting section number 1 has its money on Alan Ludden, host of Password, and Betty White of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Rooting section number 2 backs TV host Bill Cullen and his wife Ann. And rooting section number 3 is betting on composer-singer Chuck Woolery and movie actress Jo Ann Pflug as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
I thought we'd break that up a little bit, kiss hands today, you know. You have a lovely hand, Bill. Well, you too, Ann, of course. Thank you for tuning in, Tattletales. Our studio audience is divided into 3 sections here today, each one backing one of our celebrity couples. And every time one of our celebrity couples wins some money, that money is divided among their rooting section. So, ready to go, gang? Fellas, have a seat with me. Ladies, if you will, step to the rear. And we'll be back to start our first round of Tattletales in just a minute. Okay, we are back, ready to go. The fellas are out here with me. We have 3 wonderful couples. Leading off is Chuck Woolery and his wife, Jo Ann Pflug.
Hello, Jo Ann Pflug. Hi, Bert.
Nice, you sure are a nice-looking couple. You know that?
Last day. Thank you.
Golly, you're really...
I'm gonna miss you. I'll
really
tell you
look
that
good.
right now.
And next to Joanne and Chuck is Bill Cullen and his wife, Ann.
All right, thank you, Bert. Hi there, Ann. Hi there, friends. My friends.
boy. You got a hot section out there today, Bill.
That's a great section.
Really pulling for you, that yellow section.
Stick
All
with me.
right, next to Ann and Bill is Alan Lutton and his wife, Betty White.
Just think, as you said yesterday, Bert, if I had your dimples and hers, we'd have 4, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. As I also said, you could have 6 or 8, depending on what's going on. Ladies, we're going to cut you off now from Sight and Sound, so you don't know what we're doing. But we're coming back to you. Bye, Betty. Bye, Ann. There they go, the little darlings.
Drifting off into
Yes,
sunset.
all right, gentlemen. I'm going to ask you questions now about your wives and your lives together. When you have an answer you think she's going to recognize, please press that button.
Please press a button.
Please
Okay.
press the button in front of you, but be quick. I'll only take one answer. Here we go. First question. And it is first kiss. Chuck.
Yes.
First kiss, sir.
The first kiss took place in her apartment. About 2 o'clock in the morning. We'd been out. It was our first date, and I did kiss her. And I'll never forget, we'd been talking for a long time, and I looked over and I said, you know, I've been watching you all night. Can I kiss you? And I asked her.
What did she say?
And she said, no. As a matter of fact, you can't. No, she kissed me, and then we've been together ever since.
How long has that been?
Oh, it's been about, what time is it? Yeah, it's been a little over a year and a half.
Well, that's the longest kiss on record, I bet.
It's got to be.
You've been together ever since.
I'm trying to think of what I could use, though, as a clue. That's a hard one. How about,
one or two word clue.
ask?
Ask. Lips.
What was the other one?
I need a one or two
maybe
word clue
ask.
for first kiss. Do you have
Ask. I'll try ask.
Ask. A one word ask?
Request.
Request.
Yes, request.
The man says he wants to. The clue is request. You
Yes,
say.
I think so. Request.
All right, let's bring on the ladies now. Ladies, come on in. We have asked the fellas a question. We'll sound that signal when you recognize your husband and can match his answer from the clue. Here is the question first. First kiss is the question. The clue is. Did you mean to do that, Joanne?
Well, I got a little carried away.
And that was just the first kiss.
All right, here we go. Here is the question. First kiss, and the clue is request. All right, that time you meant it, didn't you, Joanne?
I meant it before, too. Yes, on our very first date, we sat and talked, and I was wishing that he'd kiss me. And finally, when he was leaving, he asked if he could kiss me, and I was so impressed, I couldn't get over it. And so he did.
That's what he said.
That's a good girl.
All right. Thank you, ladies. We'll get back to you in just a moment. Okay, gentlemen, ready to go?
Yes.
Here comes the next question. Same question, first kiss. Alan. Alan, you are up there, sir, with a fast right.
All right, I tell you what, it's a very simple thing if she'll just clear her head and remember it. Our first kiss was literally in a play. We were doing Critics' Choice. She was going with somebody else pretty heavily. And the first kiss I ever remember, I hope it's the one she remembers, was play, and it was Critics' Choice, and I think I'll say Dennett. No, I can't use a proper name, can I?
No, it can't. It has to be one or two word clue.
Oh, stage. I'll say stage. On stage. It was on stage.
You want a two-word on stage
No,
or
just
one word?
stage.
Just stage. One word clue worth $100.
Wait, she might get mixed up with stage there. Play, I think play's better. Let's say play.
Play.
Then she'll think it's a play kiss.
Yeah.
Stage.
It's only a half-hour show, Alan.
Why don't you just leave her, Alan?
You're in a lot of trouble so far.
Stock. What about summer stock? Would that do it? Stock?
Stock?
Stock would do it. Stock.
I think you kissed
All
a
right.
horse.
Yeah, that's the thing. I
Really
kissed a
such
horse.
they're all nodding their heads, yes. That would do it.
Stock.
Oh, you want to go with stock?
Stock.
All right, stock it is.
I don't like
First
first
kiss.
kiss. Not my right.
That sounds like your cow story again. Okay.
All right. God knows what we're going to get, kids.
All right, let's bring on the ladies. Shh, everybody. Ladies, we have a question and we have a clue. Here is the question first.
the clue?
It is the same question. First kiss. And here is the clue. Stock. Betty. All right, Betty. Tell us about that.
Well, he started to kiss me, and I said, stop. No, it wasn't that at all. No, what it was, we were in the car, and it's been kind of friendly with each other, and all of a sudden he pulled up with his stop signal. And he kissed me, and I think we missed 4 lights, but it was just lovely. That was Alan, wasn't
I'm
it?
sorry. That's a very interesting
She
story.
misunderstood the clue.
I think you misunderstood the word. I said stock.
Stuck. I thought you said stop.
No, I said S-T-O-C-K. Stock. And I'm sorry, that's not the answer that we have.
The first time he kissed me, I was stuck with him.
O-C-K.
Wrong
stock.
again.
The story, tell her what you said.
I
Alan. You
told
probably
them that
remember
the
now.
first time I kissed you, and I was using it kind of euphemistically, was in summer stock
That's what I
at
thought.
Dennis, Mass. Is that wrong, Betty?
I was so hung up at this stoplight, which was a couple months before that, if you remember. I don't mean to bring up these problems on the
No,
show.
the stoplight was after summer stock,
Well,
Betty.
anyway.
It was, wasn't it? I
Yes, it
forgot
probably
that.
was, but we haven't got time to argue about it now, gang. Betty and Alan, you have 0 and
Sorry,
Bill have yet
gang.
to score. Jo Ann and Chuck are in the lead with $100. All right. Now we're going to play a little Tattletale Quickie.
Stick with me.
Gentlemen, I am reaching for it. Ladies,
Quickie.
here it is. I'm going to ask you this question. Don't give me the answer until I ask for it. Here it is. Ladies, you're at a dinner party, and a particularly loud and opinionated man begins spouting political views opposed to yours. Opposed to yours. Do you stand up for your point of view, ask him not to talk politics at dinner, or try to ignore him? Okay, you've got this opinionated man spouting political views opposed to yours. Do you stand up for your point of view, ask him not to talk politics at dinner, or try to ignore him? Okay, ladies, think about that. We're coming back to you in just a minute. All right, Chuck, how do you think...
This is so easy.
It is.
She's a tiger.
She's a
Now,
tiger.
you know her. She just jumps up and she'll stand up for her point of view. No question. No
Okay,
question.
you'll say she'll stand up
Yeah,
for her point of view.
yeah.
Okay, that's the first one.
And beat him to death.
Okay, for $100, let's bring on Jo Ann. Jo Ann, what would you do at that dinner party? Would you stand up for your point of view, ask him not to talk politics at dinner, or try to ignore him?
What do you think, Bert?
I plead
I always stand at my own point of view.
That's what he said for $100. Okay.
Absolutely more dinner parties.
Gets you in a lot of hot water, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does.
Oh, my. All right, thank you. Anyway, you got a correct answer there. All right, Bill, how about Ann? Which one of those 3 do you think she would do?
Mine, too, is a piece of cake. Mine is so easy. You folks, don't worry. The money is in your purse and pocket. Ann, too, is a tiger. But she also doesn't like trouble. So what Ann would do would be ignore him, and then when we got home, she'd beat me to death. She would ignore him. She'd
You
do
say
her best.
ignore him.
She doesn't want any trouble with anyone.
All right, let's bring on Ann. Ann, what would you do at that dinner party with that opinionated fellow?
I think first I'd try to ignore him.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Absolutely right. What else would you do, Ann?
I'd punch him in the nose after a little while.
That's funny. Bill said you'd punch him in the nose when you got home. Thanks, Ann. That's a score. Okay, Alan, how about Betty?
Well, this is doubly complicated because it's usually I who is that obnoxious fellow who's spouting out his
At the party,
beliefs at
huh?
a dinner party. And that makes it a little difficult for her to ignore. She's a woman of strong convictions, but she also doesn't like trouble. And this is not a piece of cake, gang. I don't know. I think probably she would let her opinions be known more than anything else. So let's go with...
Say stand up for your own
She'll
your
stand
own
up
point
for
of view.
her own point of view. But
All right,
we've got a big risk here, gang. I got to tell you.
Well, let's take it. Here we go. Let's bring on Betty. All right, Betty, which of those 3 would you do?
When this loud, opinionated man stood up and started spouting opposite views to mine, I'd say, come on, honey, you've said enough, let's go home. I tell you, I would try to keep my own counsel and not say anything.
You would ignore him. Sorry, that's not what Alan said you'd do.
Well,
Tell her
no,
what
I
you
did
said,
say it
Alan.
would probably be me, the man in question. She did say that.
Yes, that's true. But that's not what he said. Tell her what you said, Alan.
I said you would probably stand up for your own point of view, but I also pointed out to our gang here that you didn't like trouble, so you might do precisely what you said you
I'm
would
sorry,
do.
dear.
Sorry, dear.
No
Sorry,
score
gang.
there. Let's see. That is halftime. We're at our halfway mark, and at this point, Betty and Alan have yet to score. Ann and Bill have $100. Jo Ann and Chuck are in the lead with $200. Let's turn about, fellas, if you will. Go to the rear. Ladies, come on out here with me. While we're changing places, we'll break away, but we're coming right back. Don't go away. Okay, the members of our studio audience, of course, are sharing the winnings of our celebrity couples. You know that. But let me add this. If your rooting section is backing our winningest couple at the end of today's show, we will add as a bonus $1,000. Okay. I have the ladies with me. That looks very nice, Jo Ann. Don't pull on that.
Okay.
Looks
Thank you.
absolutely perfect.
Thanks, Dan.
I can see it. Let's see how the fellas are doing back there. They're all situated. Gang, are you back there?
Okay.
There they are. Yes.
Yes.
You're all
Here we
plugged
are.
in. Everything
Right.
ready to go.
And we're gonna get this one.
Nice and comfortable. We have a good close game here, fellas.
Yeah.
Anybody can still win this. We're only halfway through.
All right.
We'll see you in a minute. Hold tight.
Okay.
All right, ladies, I'm going to ask you questions now about your husbands, your lives together. When you have an answer you think that he's going to recognize, press that button. Here we go. First question. A humdinger of an argument. Betty. You were there, Betty.
Well, we have those a lot. I'm sorry to say, but it's really usually well about politics, or it's about we have different views on how to raise kids. And one corker of an argument that we had, I got a little testy, just a little put out, and I threw my car keys at the bedroom door, and there's a scar left in that door that won't heal.
You threw your car keys?
I threw my car keys right at the door.
Did you think it was the garage at the time? Or
No, I didn't realize the door was closed. The keys went through the door, but the door was closed.
You were aiming at Alan?
Yes.
All right, we need a one or two word clue that Alan might recognize.
Keys.
Keys it has to be. Okay. Let's bring on the fellas, shall we? Gentlemen, we have asked a question and we have a clue. Here is the question first.
Okay.
A humdinger of an argument. And here is the clue. Keys. Keys. All right, Chuck, tell us about that, if you will.
Yeah, we always have an argument over keys, and the reason is that I can never find my keys. I put my keys down, and for some reason, she's always putting them away somewhere. I can never find them, and so we constantly really have battles over, Jo Ann, where are my keys?
Yes.
And,
that's fascinating, Chuck.
Hello? Anyone there?
That isn't what Jo Ann said. Alan, where were you on that one?
Quick thinking, darling.
No, I thought it was me, but it's more doors open for dogs. But I do get mixed up with the keys, too.
Do you remember that particular?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. You didn't remember.
We've never had a serious argument. I had to... Sorry.
We have.
Betty has just made a face of incredulity. Is that a word? I think it is. Anyway, she made a face when you said that. She doesn't believe that. Anyway, I'm sorry. No score, Alan.
I'm sorry, Alan.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
gang.
let's move along. Fellas, we'll get back to you in just a moment. Here we go. Next question. A time you heard strange noises. Jo Ann, you're up.
Strange noises. Oh, yes. I remember a night. I was in bed, and Chuck came charging into the bedroom, and he said, there sounds like someone is banging into the back house, and you're not supposed to keep going.
Well, now, I didn't hear that, and I guess I ought to. I don't know if I have to hear that. I have to hear the question. I mean, I have to hear the answer.
He has a small little, pistol, revolver.
Yes.
I didn't want, I don't know if you can have them or not, and I didn't want to say it.
Well, you've just said it, so America, ignore that, okay?
Well, anyway, so he came galloping out there, and he thought someone was breaking into the house, and they were just people in the house next door that were rowdy. So I really don't know what else to say.
So we need a one or two word clue that'll let Chuck know what you're talking about.
Oh.
A time you heard strange noises.
And it was, I guess I'll just have to say gun.
Gun?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say is gun.
Okay, let's bring on the fellas. All right, gentlemen, we have asked the ladies another question, and we have another clue. Here is the question first. A time you heard strange noises. And the clue is gun. A time you heard strange noises, and the clue is gun. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Chuck,
Daggone it! I started to go and didn't.
Yeah, well, had you gone, you would have scored, but you didn't. And
son of a gun.
Daggone it, you didn't get in there, did you? I'm sorry, no score there, but let's see how we stand at the moment. Betty and Alan have yet to score. Ann and Bill have $100. Jo Ann and Chuck are in the lead with $200. Okay, we'll be back with more of Tattletales after this message. Don't go away. Hang on a second.
Keep rubbing it in.
Okay, we're back. We're going to play a Tattletale Quickie now. Fellas, I'm going to ask you this question. Don't give me the answer until I ask for it. Here it is. Men, leaving your wife aside.
Easier said than done.
I knew there'd be three responses to that.
Hello?
Men, leaving your wife aside, what do you think the average wife wants most in a husband? 1, a good companion. 2, a good provider. 3, a good lover. What do you think the average wife wants most in a husband? A good companion, a good provider, or a good lover? Think that over, fellas, and we'll get back to you in just a minute. All right, Joanne, what do you think the average wife?
I think they'd want them all.
I'm sure they do, but we have to pick one.
Okay, I would say most people are concerned with security, so I would say a good provider.
You'd say a good provider. Mm-hmm. And you think that's what Chuck will say, too?
He better.
Okay. This question is worth $100 for each correct answer. We have a good close game here. Let's bring on Chuck. Okay, Chuck, which one of those three do you think the average wife most wants?
That's very interesting, really.
In a husband.
I'm sure that you could go a lot of different ways with that with a lot of different women. But I do believe that most women, probably the most lasting thing would be companionship.
Sorry about that.
What did you say, Joanne?
Tell him what you said, Joanne.
Well, I said most people are concerned with security, so they'd look for someone who is a good provider.
Oh, you're materialistic.
I know it, and I love it.
Doesn't matter as long as you're in love.
Well, no, that's
I
the
keep
third
telling
one.
you that.
Sorry, Chuck, no score there. Thank you. Okay, and how about Bill?
Oh,
What
it's
will he
either
say?
provider or companion, and
Yes,
I
a
just don't know
companion,
which one to
provider.
go. Okay, I'll go with companion. I think that's what he'll say.
You say the average
Yeah.
wife wants most in a husband. All right, let's see if Bill agrees with you. Okay, Bill, which one of those three do you think the average wife most wants in a husband?
She could have really scored on all three if she'd married the Marx Brothers. After the leaving my wife aside.
Yes, that's right. The average wife.
I'm sorry to say I think provider is the answer.
Now, see, we're...
You matched Joanne absolutely beautifully,
see you, Joanne.
Bill. But you didn't match Ann. Tell him what you said, Ann.
I said companion, Bill.
What happened to lover, sweetie?
Well, I have that.
You two can sort. She does?
My
You
best
do?
to both of you.
I saw the look on your face. I didn't think it was you. Thank you, Bill. I'm sorry. No score there.
Anytime, Bert.
Okay, Betty. How about Alan?
Well, I happen to be lucky enough to have all three, but I think if he hears that one key line in there about leaving your wife aside...
Yeah, your wife aside.
I really am afraid, seriously, it would be provider, but he may say companionship. I'm going to say he could always get a dog for a companion. I think provider.
You'll say provider. You gonna stick with that?
I think...
Okay, that's what it is. Let's bring on Alan. Okay, Alan.
Okay, Bert.
Which one of those three would the average wife want most in a husband?
Leaving my wife aside.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to win money for those good people. I got to give you an answer, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wish it were another question. I would say that she would say that I would say companion.
Well, you were close, Alan. You were very close. I'm sorry, that's not what you said. Tell him what you said, Betty.
I said good night, folks. Provider.
Hey, she said a provider. That means our time is up. Our winners are Jo Ann and Chuck Woolery. Okay, Joanne and Chuck, you've won $200. We had $1,000 to that for a total of $1,200 for your rooting section. Okay, we'll be back with more of Tattletales right after this message for you. Come on back. Okay, we gave away a total of $1,300 today. We hope you had fun. I sure had fun. Thank you, folks, for coming today. Bert Convey saying so long next time. Tattletales, audience sharing the secrets and winning. Bye-bye.
This is Jack Clark speaking for Tattletales, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Tattletales. Nice to have you with us today. Nice to have all of you with us today as well. As you no doubt know, we have a studio audience here going bananas. Well, only part of them are going bananas. Only the yellow section goes bananas. We have two other sections, the blue section, the red section, all three sections rooting for our celebrity couples whom you are about to meet. And here they are. On my left, winning money for the blue section, Mr. Charlie Brill and Mitzi McCall. Here's my... Are those leaning forward? Your little nameplate there is leaning forward for some reason. Should those be pushed back? Yeah, well, let's push those back. Shall we do that? Yeah, let's push them all back. There we are. It's the wrong union, but it's all right. They'll let us get away with that. Mitzi, how are you back there, dear?
Hi, BBC.
What?
BBC.
BBC.
Beautiful Bert Convy.
Isn't that sweet? Never mind, Charlie. You leave her alone. She knows what she's talking about. I like what she
Got no hair on his chest.
It's all right. I got it where it counts. Okay, winning money for the banana section today, Mr. Jim Backus and his wife, Henny.
Good to see you.
Hello. How are you, darling? Oh, I can hardly hear you.
He dresses well, doesn't he? And quickly, too.
Fast dresser, nothing wrong with that. Hiya, Jim. Henny, it's nice to have you with us.
Thank you, darling.
You ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, next to Henny and Jim, winning money for the red section today, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chuck Woolery and his wife, Jo Ann Pflug.
Oh, listen to this crowd.
Yes, indeed. Hey.
You play tennis. Don't you play tennis?
Sure, yes.
You didn't say anything about my belt buckle. Did you see my belt buckle?
No, but I got a feeling I'm gonna.
You're gonna see my belt buckle. Are you ready?
Look at that.
I saw it.
You did?
Huh? Glenn Campbell tournament. I won it. Pro celebrity
Why, you're
tournament.
kidding. You won the Glenn Campbell tournament?
Riding a horse.
Well,
I know it's got a horse
It's got
on
a
it.
horse on it. What does that have to do
Well,
with
it came
He
from
played on
Texas.
horseback.
You played on horseback.
No,
That's the Portuguese way of tennis.
I'm missing a
Sit down. You've made a fool out of
Sit
yourself.
down, will you, Chuck? Congratulations. I didn't know that.
Oh, well, it's easy.
I'm
Yelling at Chuck.
Jo Ann, how are you, dear?
Oh,
Are you visiting among yourselves back there?
Well, I just felt left out back here.
Don't
Everyone
you
was
feel left
going
out?
back.
By golly, because Chuck is bragging on himself. You don't pay any attention to that. You
No,
look
I
lovely
brag
and
on it,
beautiful. And
too.
it's
You
nice
want to
to
show
have-
us your belt buckle?
Never mind.
Sure, you want to see it?
Are you ready to go, gang? Because I'm ready. Here comes the first question right now. It's
Okay.
worth $150, and this is it. Ladies, do you get along better with your husband's friends, or does he get along better with your friends? Do you get along better with your husband's friends, or your husband's friends, or does he get along better with your friends? Oh, that's a good one. Think about that, ladies. We'll come back for your answer in just a moment. Okay, Charlie. Now, obviously, your friends are her friends.
No.
Wrong.
No.
Are her friends your friends?
I don't get on with her friends at all. They don't like me.
I wonder why.
I don't know, but she likes my friends because they're very nice people.
And they're all men, too.
And, yeah. Wait a minute. You can't do that.
Never thought of that, huh?
You're right, as a
Yeah.
matter of fact, yeah. But I have to go with that answer. It's true.
What is the answer?
The answer is she likes my friends. What is your question?
That's what I was going to say. What's the question? She gets along better with your
Friends. Yes.
Okay, let's find out if she does. Are we ready? Hello there, Mitzi.
Hi, sweetheart.
Now, here's the question. Do you get along better with Charlie's friends, or does he get along better with your friends?
Oh, well, that's simple. I get along much better with his friends
That's
than he gets
what he
along.
said.
You hit.
Why do you think that is, Mitzi?
Oh, well, because Charlie gets jealous over everything. If the only time Charlie ever wants to have a conversation with me at home is when I'm on the telephone.
Right.
I mean, he can't stand it.
I know the feeling.
Do you really?
Oh, do I know
Oh,
it?
it's not
Everybody
working
wants to
out.
talk to you when you're on the phone. it
Yeah,
seems.
right.
Okay, you have a share of the pot, dear.
Yay!
Thank you. Hey, Jim, what's Henny going to say?
I'm going to say that Henny gets along a lot better with my friends because I got, like, Richard Burton is a good friend. You know, a few little babies going
I know
like
what you
that.
mean, yes.
And, she does. There's something just about that. I can't figure it out. It must be to do with the genes.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this.
No, I know what you mean. I know.
Geene.
Yes.
She gets along better.
With your friend.
I'm belaboring a point.
All right. No, you're not at all.
Well, I am.
I agree with you.
Geene.
No, he meant point. P-O-I-N-T. Let's bring on Henny. Henny, whose friends do you get along best with? Do you get along better with his friends or with your friends?
Well, by now they're all mutual, really.
Or does he get along better with your friends as well?
I guess he gets along better with my friends because he's a putty tail.
Oh, name one, darling.
They're all mutual.
There's
no such thing as your friends or my friends anymore.
Really?
No.
Well, that's not what Jim said.
What'd you say?
He said that you got along better with his friends because he had friends like Richard Burton and so forth.
Oh.
Jim,
That's a friend.
Yes.
She's got a few that'll bear watching, but that's...
Yes, I think so from now on. I'm sorry, no share there, Henny. Thank you. Chuck, how about Jo Ann?
Yeah, actually, I think I probably get along. I don't have many friends.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's because you keep
there. I don't write back, but
that's because you keep winning championship tournaments.
Yeah. No, I don't really have. I've only been here for a couple of years, so I don't have that many friends that are local, and I don't have that many friends back home either. I'm sorry you asked that question, Bert. I just realized I'm in a lot of trouble. Thank you. I think that probably I get along better with her friends, even though, we were just with some of my friends for 2 weeks. And she might think back.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I got an appointment Wednesday morning. I gotta get out.
We'll be back after this brief word.
I get along better with her friends.
You get along better with her friends because you don't have any.
But
that's not on the card. We'll say you get along better with your friends.
Yeah, I would
say. Let's bring on Jo Ann. Jo Ann.
What?
Do you get along better with your husband's friends, or does he get along better with your friends?
Well, since he's moved out here, he's met all my friends, so I'd say he gets along better with
Hey! That's what he said. You're right. Not bad. And that means Jo Ann and Chuck, Mitzi and Charlie, yes, split the pot. And there it is on the board, and we'll come back to find out who's going to win all the rest of the pots in just a minute after this message for you. We are back. Question number 2 coming up. It's worth $150. It's addressed to you, ladies. If you are ready, we are ready. Here it is. Ladies,
yes.
Which of the two of you spent more time worrying about and organizing your wardrobe?
What was that again?
What?
That's real good, Bert.
I'm going to try this again, okay? Here we go. Ladies!
Yes.
Which of the two of you spent more time worrying about and organizing your wardrobe for doing this show? You or your husband? There it is, finally, folks. Which of the two of you spent more time worrying about and organizing your wardrobe to do this show? You or your husband? Think about that. We'll come back to it in a moment. I got a feeling that's a pretty good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Because for those of you at home who may not know, we do 5 shows, and so our couples have to come up with 5 changes.
Yeah.
Who spent more time worrying about it, Charlie?
I've been wearing the same pants every show, so.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No, you have not.
So have I, Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you I can tell because of the riding with the horses.
Easy,
Me, I can get away with it.
there.
Mitzi starts to panic and cry and scream and run next door to Aunt Elder and borrow clothes, and then she's not to fit into my clothes. She's crazy.
Does Aunt Elder live next door to you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, why did you ask?
Because you said that, and I didn't. You said she runs next door to Aunt
That's
Elder.
where I heard
That's
it.
probably where I heard it.
So, it's Mitzi. Mitzi starts worrying a year and a half in advance.
Mitzi was more concerned about the wardrobe for today.
Much more concerned.
Let's bring her on and find out, Charlie.
All right.
Mitzi, who is it now? Who is more concerned and worried and having a terrible time with the wardrobe?
Well, I mean, of course, me.
That's what the man said.
You know what?
Your man, I love her.
You know what? Bert.
Yes.
You know what Charlie wanted to do?
What?
He wanted to wear the same pants.
I did.
You did?
No, he didn't. He just said that. Did you? You didn't wear the same pants. No.
Honestly.
Twice. Well, twice.
He really just doesn't care how
Jim
he
has no socks.
It doesn't make any difference. You have a share of the pot, darling.
Yay,
Thank
for the
you.
blueberries.
Jim, how about Henny? Between you and Henny.
Between who?
Between you and Henny. Who? That's what it says on the name card out here.
Oh, that's who I brought
yes,
here.
you brought Henny today.
Between me and Henny, I want to tell you something that Henny puts on a full makeup to mail a letter, and she has had these clothes hanging there since early. What is today's? Yeah. Well, anyhow, it was 5 days ago she started preparing for this. So I would say she worries, puts things on, takes them off. I just can't, I can't, you know, with just a pair of trousers and this tired shirt, that's all.
Right, you've been looking pretty snazzy, I must say.
I know.
Nevertheless,
you peaked too, didn't you?
You'll say it's Henny, huh?
I say it's Henny.
Okay, let's bring her on. Henny, who was it now that organized and hassled over and worried about this wardrobe?
Well, Jim didn't think about it until he was in the car. Me.
That's what he said. You're right. The banana section went bananas over that one, Henny. You're absolutely right. You have a share of that.
I know, I was there.
Okay, Chuck, between you and Joanne.
Yeah, I'm a silent worrier, so I stayed awake and I dreamed about it all night last night.
You did?
And then I decided that there's no reason for it. But she's always zipping around every place saying, what am I going to wear? And there's 18,000. You can't even get into her closet because there's so many. It's confusion. So I think that she'll probably say that I did, but I think that she did.
So you're going to say what
that she did.
You'll say. Now, wait, what you want to do now is, of course, get what she's going to say.
Hi there, folks. That's right.
That's right.
I still think that she'll say she did.
She'll say.
Yeah, I think so.
She did.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring her on.
She's always
the red
late
section
and
is in
stuff.
full agreement. Let's bring her on. Here she comes. Joanne, who worried most?
Well, I'll tell you something. If he is really honest, this time it was him. Yes, it was. He started worrying about it last night. It was true.
Hey, come on.
He was very honest about it, and he said it was you, and
No.
I'm terribly sorry. No, sir, with that pot. That means Henny and Jim, Mitzi and Charlie split that pot, and it is now halftime with the blue section in the lead. We will change places. Fellas, step to the rear. Ladies, come on out here. And while we are changing places, we'll break away for a very brief commercial message for you.
I sit on my knees, and if I sit like this, isn't she cute?
I can understand that.
Summer.
No, it's not. It's
Yes,
cute.
I'll have to buy all my lingerie in the little girls department. You know what it's like to have lace pajamas with feet in them?
All right, now you just sit down on that stool and you behave yourself, young lady. Okay. Here we go. Question for you, fellas. This is it. It's worth $150. Guys, a group of your pals are getting together for your birthday, and they plan to really roast you. Now, what is the one quality about you that every one of them will probably make a joke about? Okay? Group of your pals are getting together for your birthday, and they plan to really roast you. What is the one quality about you that every one of them will probably make a joke about? Think about it, fellas, and we'll come back for your answer in just a minute. Mitzi, what's the one quality about Charlie, do you
Charlie is a hypochondriac.
think? Is that right?
The worst. He gets measles on his lunch hour. Always sick. And all of our friends know it, Bert.
But is he really sick, or is he really a hypochondriac and he's not sick at all?
He's never sick.
Never.
He's like a horse, an
Right.
elephant.
But he worries about it.
Worries all the time. He's always thinking he's sick.
That's the one
and
thing.
that's the thing.
Let's bring him on.
Okay.
There he is,
Yay,
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yay, Charlie.
Yay.
Hey,
Hey.
Charlie, tell us, what is the one thing that all those guys are going to joke about? What is the one quality?
They're wrong, but it's probably that I always think I'm sick.
That's what the lady said.
Oh, you're a wonderful man.
But I don't feel well. I really don't
Charlie,
feel
Charlie, you're right, and you have a share of the pot. How do you feel?
not good.
Yes. Not too well, huh? Yes, I understand. All right, let's go. Henny, what's Jim going to say?
I think they'd kid him about his golf, despite the fact that he's a card-carrying hypochondriac.
Oh, is he really?
He's sicker than you are.
But what's the one, you think it'll be golf, though?
I do.
They'll all pick on his golf. Let's bring him on. Jim, what is the one thing all those guys going to joke about?
Well, this is a thing that's almost led to almost a divorce, is the fact that I play so much golf.
That's what the lady said. You're right.
You know, like I'm the only guy that made less than a hole-in-one. I missed the ball and sank the tip, but those little gems.
Okay, you have a share of the pot. You're doing beautifully on both scores. Joanne, how about Chuck?
Well, the only thing I can think of, I'm just terrible because I think lean and mean. And bless his heart, he's always trying to lose weight. And so everyone's always saying, oh, you've lost weight. Then he goes and eats some more chocolate bars. So I think that he would probably say his overweightness or fatness.
His
or...
chubbiness.
Oh, that was a very polite way to say it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We call him his royal chubbiness.
That's Winnie the Pooh.
Yes. Okay, let's bring on Fatso now. Let's bring on Chuck now. Hey there, big guy. What's the one thing that your pals would all kid you about, Chuck?
I really, honestly can't come up with anything.
Oh,
I don't have any qualities. Singing. My singing. What did she say?
What? Do the letters FAT mean anything to you?
What?
I'm sorry, that's what the lady said. Don't
good,
blame me
Joanne.
now.
I know I did. We said chubbiness.
Chubby.
I'm going to hurt you tonight.
No. Yeah, he's going to roll over on you. Okay.
Oh,
that means
good.
Mitzi and Charlie, Henry and Jim share that pot, and there it is, folks. Come back through.
I'm going to roll over on you. I'm going to hurt you, too.
All right, we're back.
Hey there.
This question is worth double, ladies and gentlemen. 300 big ones riding on this one, and here we go. Fellas, it's addressed to you, and this is it. Men! And you too, Charlie.
Thank you.
Let's say one day you and your wife go fishing together, and you each catch a fish that is all of 4 inches long. Okay? A few weeks later, you're telling some friends about the great fish you caught. Whose fish will have grown the most? Okay? Let's say that you've gone fishing, you and your wife. You both caught a fish that's 4 inches long. Weeks later, you're telling your friends about it. Whose fish will have grown the most in the intervening time? Think about it, fellas, and we'll come back in an intervening time and find out. Mitzi, what's Charlie going to say?
Well, I can hear him now. He'd say, you wouldn't believe it, but I caught Moby Dick. He was the one.
His fish would have grown the most.
Oh, so big.
Would yours still be 4 inches long, or would yours
Well, I'm
grown a
not
bit?
saying it would be 4 inches long. It might be 5.5, but
Yeah.
his would be.
His would be. Do that again. I love what your hair does when you do that.
She's so attractive.
It looks like a puppy. It looks like a little puppy, doesn't it?
That's like a lot of options.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, let's bring him on. Charlie, who's...
Bert, did you hear about the whale that I caught a couple of weeks ago?
That's the man. Who said it? Charlie, that is so close because she said yours would be Moby Dick in a few weeks.
And I want to harpoon her navel.
Right on the button. All right, you have a share of the pot. Henny, what's Jim going to say?
Oh, Jim's going to say his was enormous because he's already done that.
He's already done it?
It happened, and he did. And if he says anything else, he's lying.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. We'll put him to the test right now. Let's bring him on. Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
Whose fish would have grown the most from 4 inches to whatever?
On a scale of 1 to 10, my fish, because Henny hates fish.
That's what she said. You're right.
She caught one lousy fish and threw it back and still has nightmares about it.
It made me cry. Look
Is
at
that
it.
right? But it's
Really.
still swimming around. It's okay. Don't worry. You have a share of the pot, too, Jim. Thank you. Joanne, how about Chuck?
Well, Chuck is quite the fisherman. And he loves to fish. He'd rather do that than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, that's personal. Moving right along. He has kind of a tendency to exaggerate things. Like when we first had met each other, he said, you know, we've known each other 6 months and it was like 2 weeks.
Right.
We've been married 6 months. You know, we've been married almost 2 years.
Right.
So he'd better say he's the one that exaggerates. I would say it had grown.
You would say it had grown?
Yes. No, not
He would say that it's
he
really...
would say it had grown.
Really a big one.
And he's going to be stretched out if he doesn't.
Yes, all right.
By them.
We'll fix that. Okay, shh. Now, don't give it away. Let's bring on Chuck. Okay, Chuck. Whose fish will have grown from 4 inches to enormous proportions over the intervening weeks?
I am what is called in the music business or entertainment business as a hype man. Mine is always bigger and better.
That's what the lady said. You're absolutely right. And that means everybody was right. They all blamed it on the fellas. You split the pot 3 ways, ladies and gentlemen. That signal means our time is up. The blue section wins. We will come back in just a moment to find out how much they have won. Please come back with us, too, won't you? Our big winners for the day were the blue section. Mitzi and Charlie won $325. We had $1,000 for that, for a total of $1,325 for the blue section. Congratulations. Jim, you and Henny have something that we should know about. What is that?
Well, we've written a couple books. The last one was called What Are You Doing After the Orgy? And our newest one is called May I Sit on Your Helmet?
May I Sit on Your Helmet?
It's a provocative title.
We'll think about that, and while you're thinking about it, remember to tune us in the next time on Tattletales. Won't you? Bert Convy saying so long, everybody. See you then.
Bye. Bye.
He's gone to a lot of blanking trouble to look good. The least you could do is watch. Match Game, weekdays at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, only on Game Show Network.